Hey guys, welcome to Philadelphia Live. You guys are watching our live streaming news program on Fox 29 Philadelphia. We're going to get you caught up on some of your biggest news topics of the day, both locally, nationally, and we may even dip into the international waters as well. But I do need to get us started off on some breaking news. Literally right before I came into the studio, we just got notification that the young man that you see on your screen there has turned himself in to the authorities. There was a manhunt going on for Gaddafi Fleming. Philadelphia police officers say that he not only has connections to some car theft, but they also say he may be linked to the Penn State student's murder that we've all been investigating for weeks now. You may remember his name, Billy Schmidt. Officials say that he was walking home to his father's house. He was maybe just a block or so away. This was late at night when all of a sudden two people run up on him, and you can see on Ring doorbell camera footage that he is shot. He is left there in the street, and unfortunately, he did not make it from his injuries. Now, they say that this 19-year-old Gaddafi Fleming was wanted in connection to that deadly June shooting of the 22-year-old Penn State student. They also say that he's wanted for questioning in a recent theft of an off-duty officer's car, so it seems he has been busy. Again, we've just gotten this information into the newsroom. I'm going to try to get more information for you guys, but I did want to start out with the latest and the greatest that we do have here at Fox 29 Philadelphia. Now, I also want to get you out to some live events, things that are happening all across the nation right now as we speak. So we'll start with out in Ohio. President Donald Trump has been trying to make his way to, okay, we'll skip that one. Let's go out to this car chase in Los Angeles that moments ago had just come to an end. So you're seeing 3 police cars there on the scene. But you guys, when I tell you literally just maybe even less than 5 minutes ago, we probably saw closer to 8. And before that, we saw this high-speed chase reaching speeds sometimes up to like 100 miles per hour out in Los Angeles County. So our sister station kept their eyes on what's going on out there. I'll just get you some of the latest information. We know that this was potentially a suspect wanted for possibly stealing the vehicle. They say at one point during this high-speed chase, there was a passenger inside, opened the door, tumbled out of the vehicle as the driver kept going. So as you can see, again, it has finally come to an end. We're still trying to figure out what exactly happened there, but all we do know is at one point in time, that car reached over 100 miles per hour. It's believed that this may have been a stolen vehicle kind of situation that we're talking about here. It started in San Bernardino County, if you're familiar with the area in California, led its way over into Los Angeles County, and from there it seemed the driver was just going and going until finally he was forced to stop. Now, I had mentioned that President Donald Trump was out and about in Ohio, and I'll just walk you through what was happening out there. We got word that he was going to be attending something called the 2026 Patriot Games finale. Now, what is that? It kind of sounds like a game show. Well, apparently there are young people competing for scholarship money. We're talking about $125,000 worth of scholarship money. That's a pretty little penny. So they were going to crown a young man and a young woman as winners. Of course, they would have had to compete with one another. These are the top high school athletes from our country. So let's keep in mind that this would have been tough competition. They were watched by the president. He was there in person to see all of this happen. And again, all of this is for scholarship money to go on to school. These games that they competed in were something straight out of boot camp. There were a lot of physical tests that they would have to go through. We're talking about boot camp drills, track and field events, even a presidential fitness test, which maybe some of you guys remember doing when we were back in school. An obstacle course, and then also we had a kickball, dodgeball, and tug-of-war competition as well. I didn't get a chance to see who came out on top, but that was something interesting that was happening across the way. All right, let's get right back into that young man they say surrendered. I just want to talk to you a little bit more about both cases that he may have some connections to. This is what we started out the show with, you guys, that breaking news that Gaddafi, a 19-year-old from our area, surrendered himself to officials after being linked to both an off-duty Philadelphia officer's car theft and the murder of a Penn State student. So Again, he's 19 years old. He was wanted for robbery in connection to the June shooting of Penn State student Billy Schmidt, who they say was walking home, was near his father's home, maybe just a block or so away, when all of a sudden two people come up to him. It seems that they want the cell phone from him, and then they all open fire. He's left there in the street, and we're not quite sure what exactly else they wanted. Police say that they found him there, unfortunately, and he did not make it from his injuries. Now, Gaddafi Fleming was also recently involved in the theft of an off-duty Philadelphia police officer's car, according to officials. He was wanted at first just as a person of interest, but it may seem that there may be more that he has to do with this particular story. This happened early Monday morning. Officers came to 70th Street and Lindbergh Boulevard. They say they saw a red Lexus driving without headlights, being followed closely by a dark-colored SUV. Two people ran to the Lexus, according to police, and gunfire was exchanged in this particular case. Suspects say they had stolen investigators say that those suspects stole a green Dodge Charger from that area. The car's owner happened to be an off-duty Philadelphia police officer. You definitely would have picked the wrong victim here. Now, that officer, they say, the car's owner followed the suspects, confronted them on South 70th Street, where there was that shootout. Police say there was no evidence that anybody was hit. Now, after that scene, after that issue that happened, they say they wanted Gaddafi Fleming, at least for questioning. He was a person of interest at the time. And then they found, after looking into him, that he may also be involved in, again, the shooting of Billy Schmidt. So we have been trying to figure out who this person is. We have gotten a photo to share with you all. We do know Gaddafi Fleming's 16-year-old brother, Azubair Elton Fleming, was also captured back in June. They say that he was on the run and found in Colorado. Another person wanted in connection to the shooting of Billy Schmidt, Kasim Smith, surrendered to police soon after that. Interestingly enough, they also say their mother was arrested in violation of probation, and their stepfather allegedly drove Elton Fleming to Colorado Springs, so he was also wanted for questioning and eventually taken into custody. Now, Billy Schmidt, the victim in this case who did not make it, was a senior at Penn State University. They say he was studying digital journalism and media, which is kind of what I do here at Fox 29. So clearly looking forward to a bright future. They say he was getting ready to graduate in December. I know his family has been torn to pieces over this story. An aunt actually found me on TikTok, reached out and just say thank you for covering his story, as we had been for the last couple of weeks trying to get answers for them. And we will continue to report on this case as long as police are continuing to let us know the details and what's happening here. I also want to say I noticed a lot of you guys joining us on our social media platforms. We are live right now on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, bringing in people from all over the world. Let's see, we've got some comments coming in. Let me know whereabouts you guys are watching from. We've got a lot of people who join us right here from the Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware area, but I also know we've got a lot of viewers, a lot of commenters from other states. Some of you guys join us from other countries. So we'll continue telling you guys the latest news of the day. I also want to make sure that I am keeping up with where you guys are watching from, what you're interested in. Let me tell you right now, this is not your typical newscast. You guys get to influence the kind of stuff that we talk about on here. So you let me know what stories you want to hear more about, what stories maybe you haven't heard from other news organizations and you'd like to get a little bit more information, something you saw trending on social media. Or let's say I do get to talk to a reporter, or I've got an interesting interview, or maybe the weather report skipped over your area. All you got to do is ask me a question in our live stream chat. I'm able to read all of that stuff, get it out to our reporter, our meteorologist, or maybe even ask my interviewee while we're talking in real time, get your question answered, and then maybe even be able to give you a shout out. Again, this is a little different. Now, speaking of our forecast and our meteorologist, so I want to show you it's a beautiful day out in Philadelphia. You know, yesterday it was kind of icky. We were dodging storms, it seemed like, and then the end of the night seemed to be okay. But I just want to know how things are, going on today for the rest of the week. So let's check in with Scott Williams. Scott, what you got for us?
Yeah, well, I do have the fact that heat wave number 6 is officially over. So high temperatures today stayed in the 80s, upper 80s officially for Philadelphia. 88 degrees was the high temperature. So our 5-day heat wave, it is over. It ended yesterday. Yesterday was the last day with temperatures at or above 90 degrees. The average high for this time of year is right around 87 degrees. It was 88 in Wilmington, Reading, 87, 87 at the airport for Atlantic City. But take a look at heat wave number 6. Started last Thursday, 93 degrees. It was 94 at the peak on Friday, low 90 Saturday, Sunday, and of course yesterday at 91 degrees. For this evening, if you're stepping outdoors, those temperatures low 80s by 8 o'clock numbers. For 10 o'clock, 78 degrees, and beyond midnight, toward daybreak, there could be a pop-up shower or thunderstorm that kind of moves through the area overnight tonight. But right now, most of us are dry and quiet. South Jersey looking good, Delaware, Philadelphia, north and west suburbs. Then as you get toward the Poconos, you can see some of those showers and thunderstorms right now kind of creeping along Interstate 80. These were severe earlier. No longer severe, but we are monitoring them. And also take a look at this. All of the severe weather that's been moving through portions of the Great Lakes toward the Ohio River Valley, just a cluster of showers and thunderstorms. We'll probably have some reports later on this evening on the damage that's been occurring through places like Cincinnati, as well as portions of Akron, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, and all of that moving into portions of Kentucky right now, as well as West Virginia, portions of the Shenandoah Valley, looking at the severe weather. Multiple tornado warnings with this system as well. They are active severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings ongoing. So just a nasty line of showers and thunderstorms we've been watching for most of the day through that area. Now take a look at all of those severe weather reports. We're talking trees down, wires down, winds that have been gusting over 60 miles per hour, creating damage. So a lot of folks are without power. If you have family, friends, loved ones that live in Illinois, Ohio, or Kentucky, West Virginia, they're probably talking about this and how they've been dealing with just horrendous weather. So it's just been a complex of thunderstorms. We call that a MCS, mesoscale convective complex, holding together. It really is just like one large thunderstorm warning that's producing damage across that particular area. Now, as we go hour by hour for us, things start to kind of settle down. For the most part, there could be that overnight shower. Most of us stay dry, but you can see still ongoing showers and thunderstorms through some of those areas that are getting hit right now. You can see that red, that fuchsia color showing up around places like Cincinnati, Charleston, West Virginia, Columbus, Ohio. Multiple rounds of showers and thunderstorms yet for those areas to get through. So we'll be keeping tabs on that. Overnight low temperatures, 73 degrees tonight for Philadelphia, mid to upper 60s for the suburbs, which is about where we should be for this time of year. It's still kind of muggy, still humid out there, and that will be the case over the next several days. It's really not until a front moves through on Friday to knock the humidity down. That front could bring a few spotty showers our way on Friday as well. For tomorrow, temperatures back into the mid to upper 80s, which is going to be seasonable for this time of year. Can't rule out a spotty shower or a thunderstorm that pops up tomorrow afternoon and evening, kind of similar to what's happening right now in the Poconos. We'll watch for that. If you're headed down the shore over the next several days, water temperature still a little chilly with some upwelling that's been taking place. High temperatures will be in the low 80s. Mixture of sun and clouds over the next several days. Just watch out for some rip currents that will stay kind of in the moderate category, so swim where the lifeguards are present. The same storm system that will bring us a really nice weekend could bring some clouds, maybe a few showers on Friday, but it's not expected to be a washout. Now, for the inland areas, this includes Philadelphia, we could hit 90 degrees again by Thursday with partly sunny skies. A few showers, maybe a thunderstorm on Friday with a front that approaches, and then high pressure builds in for the upcoming weekend. Temperatures will be in the mid 80s for the city, low 80s for the suburbs, but the overnight low temperatures are back into the 60s for the city. Some suburbs could be close to 60 degrees for the morning low temperatures Saturday morning and Sunday morning. So really feeling more like September, if you will, for this upcoming weekend. Then we're kind of warm. Humidity creeps back up early next week. There could be a pop-up shower or storm by early next week. And then you can see by the middle and end of next week, we're back into the upper 80s, close to 90 degrees out there. So there's a lot that's been going on in terms of severe weather. There's some celestial stuff that's going to be going on over the next day or so as well, because look at this. We have a partial solar eclipse. So maybe you've been hearing about this on social media, but the path of totality is not in our area. So it's just a small sliver of that solar eclipse that will be visible for us as we get toward tomorrow afternoon between 1:11 p.m. and about 2:35. But the path of totality, you can see that dashed red line. That's where it's 100% where the moon is going to eclipse the sun. So we're talking about places like Spain, moving more toward Italy. So that's where you have the best chance, obviously, of seeing the totality. But for us, it's just going to be kind of a sliver. And yes, you do need those glasses that everyone's had. So we'll be monitoring that in terms of the forecast. So there's also meteor shower that's going to be taking place Wednesday night as well. So just a lot going on. But for our area Wednesday night, that meteor shower, we do anticipate maybe 1 to 5 meteors per hour. And that's just due to the light pollution. You really have to get away from city lights, more in the rural areas where it's completely dark. It's just you and the stars, so to speak. So the closest area to see ideal meteors for our area would be to go to Trap Pond State Park. That's in Delaware. And that's going to be kind of the darkest inland site where you can see 25 to 40 meteors per hour there. And then outside of that, you'll want to go to Dark Sky Escape, which is in rural Pennsylvania. You can see that kind of near, more so as you head closer to the border of Pennsylvania and New York, almost outside of Buffalo, New York, where you would really have the best bet of seeing that particular meteor shower. So as I mentioned, there's just been a lot that's been going on. Not only here locally, but across the globe. So we're going to be watching for that. Once again, this is going to be as we head toward Wednesday night. It's the Perseid meteor shower. The best time to view those meteors would be midnight until dawn. And once again, the best frequency is obviously going to be away from those city lights, more into some of the areas where you don't have all of those city lights. Even the Pine Barrens, you have a better chance in portions of South Jersey, some of the areas, Wharton State Forest areas as well. So we'll be keeping tabs on all of that in the days to come, as well as the weekend right now that looks pretty good. Judea, back over to you.
Scott, I love when the weather and what's going on in the sky, all the celestial stuff actually becomes like interactive where we can go out and see it as well. I just am curious because sometimes there are these phenomenons that are happening. They're not actually, you're not actually able to see it through your naked eye, but with these meteor showers,
you can
like
see
if
those with your naked eye. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
You
That's
don't
so
need you don't need any equipment for that to view the meteors, but for that partial solar eclipse, which is going to be minimal for our area because we're not in that path of totality. You do need those special glasses for that that you might still have or you might not. I don't even know where mine are. I don't know where mine
are either.
Yeah.
I remember the very first one I ever got to see, I was in DC and they were giving free glasses out at the Smithsonian, and then I saw on YouTube a lot of people were showing different ways to like make some glasses with like a little pinhole in a piece of paper from home.
Yes.
I don't know if that's safe or not, but
yeah, well, it takes a lot of work, and I think I don't know. It's minimal results in my opinion when you do that, but And you need like ideal, sky conditions too. So
That's true.
a few clouds are going to disrupt that. We can have a few clouds in the forecast too. So we're not in the path of totality, and the cloud cover could also skew the visibility. So even if you have the glasses and everything ready and in order, it's not going to be, the best, partial solar eclipse for us. Like, we're not, the closer you are in the path of totality, that's when it's really a show.
Okay. All right. Well, you guys, I feel like this definitely means you should have the Free Fox Local app downloaded on your phones, as well as Fox 29 Weather app. Stay with our meteorologists, especially if this is something that you're interested in. Clearly, we're talking about it. We got it for you. All the information you need. Scott, appreciate you coming here on Philadelphia Live and just sharing what's happening out there with our audience. You guys, if any of you missed your weather forecast in the 7 o'clock hour, don't worry. At 9 o'clock, so in about 2 hours, we'll have another forecast up and available for you guys. It'll update you on what you can expect for the rest of the night as well as the week. Now, still moving ahead, I want to get you guys more information on this deadly earthquake that has hit the Colombia region. I also heard that some people in Venezuela are also reeling from it. Keep in mind, a couple months ago, they were already hit by the twin earthquakes in their area. So we're talking about a large portion of our population here on Earth suffering. And there are a lot of people trying to do something to help them get the help that they need and the resources that they need. So we'll be touching base with one of our Fox News reporters to hopefully get you guys an update on what's going on out there. I'll also share with you some local efforts. What are we doing here, right here in Philadelphia? We'll have more on all of this when we get back. Hey guys, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I want to give a quick shout out to some of the people who are streaming along with us on our social media channels. We've got Stin8 from Chicago watching, and Crazy Me watching from Southern Indiana. We've got other people as well, but they didn't tell me their areas. If you guys would like a shout out, just let me know what city you are watching from. I will address you. We'll get you live here on air with me. And also, let me know what kind of things you want me to talk about here on this news program. We've got a lot in line for you guys, but also let me know if there's something that you're eyeing, that you're seeing in your social media feeds that you'd like me to touch base on. Now, locally, we've got something big happening in our area. It's a meeting happening right now as we speak. So remember the name Cheltenham School District? We've been talking about it for weeks now. There was a football hazing scandal. We're talking about 4 football coaches, 6 high school players, all charged in connection to 2 locker room assaults. These are alleged locker room assaults that they say were the result of hazing. A 15-year-old sophomore, they say, was attacked during some of these incidents. So the meeting today comes after District Superintendent Dr. Brian Scriven resigned last week. Today, they're meeting to discuss what the future school year looks like. They may discuss the football team. They may discuss what happens in the classrooms. There's a lot on the agenda today, but let's go ahead and take a listen in.
At 7 p.m. in a hybrid format. And as mentioned earlier, the full presentation for the Facilities Committee meeting, as well as our other committees, can be found at cheltenham.org/presentations. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Burdell Williams. Next is the liaison group report, and I will be giving that this evening. The liaison group met on June 15th via Zoom. This group is comprised of both township and school board or school district elected officials as well as administrators. Both the district and the township shared routine updates, including staffing, end of school celebrations, and the Township 250 events. The township also indicated that the appropriate ordinances were underway to reduce the speed limit on Ashbourne Road. Since that June meeting, the township has announced 2 key hires that I thought were important to highlight. One of those is the new township manager, John Altschul, who will begin next month, and we look forward to meeting him and working with him. And also the new police chief, Rich Schaefer, was also announced recently. Chief Schaefer is actually here tonight, and I'd like to give him a minute to come up and introduce himself to us. Welcome, Chief.
I am at this time Detective Lieutenant Rich Schaefer with the Cheltenham Township Police Department. On August 19th, I'll be sworn as the Chief of Police for Cheltenham Township.
All right, before he goes ahead and gives his remarks during this meeting, again, I do want to talk to you guys about what's happening over in Colombia. Remember, I mentioned that there was a deadly earthquake. We're talking about a 7.4 magnitude earthquake that hit and shocked the region. And now we're hearing that people are still undergoing search and rescues in the area. We've had video after video after video come on in. So one of our reporters from Fox News, Amy Gallo, is trying to learn more about the 100 people who have been confirmed to be dead, thousands more remaining missing in the area. I'm just wondering what's being done to help out. It looks like she may not be able to hear us. Let's try to do a check with her. Amy, if you can hear me, let me know.
I'm at the Global Empowerment Mission headquarters in Doral, Florida, where volunteers have been busy all day going through the supplies they've received for Colombia, while also still gathering donations to put together into boxes for Venezuela, which of course experienced those devastating back-to-back earthquakes just 7 weeks ago.
We are calling on the diaspora community of South Florida and the United States to, come together and once again, do what we did for Venezuela for Colombia.
According to Michael Capone, the aid group's founder, United Nations data shows more than half the aid for Venezuela came from their organization. Now they're trying to match the response for Colombia. Miami-Dade County is home to one of the largest Colombian communities in the U.S., so hundreds of volunteers are already hard at work, sorting through canned food, first aid kits, hygiene, and pet supplies. And right now, the priority for Colombia is shelter supplies. According to the Associated Press, around 1,600 buildings are damaged or collapsed in several cities. But unlike Venezuela, people in Colombia can still get a lot of immediate needs like food and water, which is why GEM and local government officials are asking people to consider monetary donations.
It does cost a lot to build some of these kits or collect these needs or these products here and then ship them. Whereas in Colombia, we can purchase them, and that $100 you're going to spend on, aid or hygienic products will go double or go farther away in Colombia.
A GEM crew is already on the ground in Colombia assessing the situation, and they've put together a list of the most needed items. Those can be found on GEM's website, as well as where to donate. That's globalempowermentmission.org. Back to you, Judea.
Amy, again, I appreciate you showing us what's going on in Florida to help out the people in Colombia, because we actually have some efforts going on in our area as well. I want to share with the audience what's happening here, but Amy, again, thank you for bringing us this live report all the way out in Florida. And you guys coming back here to me in studio, I'm based here in Philadelphia, and I hear there's a local organization doing everything they can from Philly to make sure the people in Colombia have everything they need. After this break, we're going to touch base with one of the executive directors over this particular organization. She'll share with you what still needs to be done and how you may be able to help. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Again, we're keeping you guys updated on everything that's happening in Colombia, but also I want to make sure that we're showing you the efforts here on our home base here in Philadelphia to make sure that the people who are suffering out there get what they need. So keep in mind, when this earthquake hit, there were a lot of people here in the U.S. who couldn't get in touch with their family members, with their friends, who were worried sick. And now to hear that there are some people, some kind-hearted folks just doing what they can to lend a helping hand, I feel like this is the kind of stuff that we should be sharing here on the news. So I want to bring in somebody from Acción Colombia. I came across their post on Facebook, talked a little bit more about how you, a regular everyday person, could help someone out in Colombia. And I want to bring in a board chair, Maria Rodriguez, to talk to us a little bit more about what's going on there. So first of all, welcome into Philadelphia Live.
Hi, thank you so much for everything you guys are doing. It's really important in this moment.
Thank you, but thank you to everything you guys are doing, because it's very important in this moment. So I came across the post on Facebook. You guys said you were, if anybody was still looking for a family member, a friend, whoever it may be out in Colombia, first you guys were offering them a tool to report that missing person, maybe be able to help them. What other kinds of things are you trying to do to help either connect people or just help out in general?
At the moment, we are focusing in 3 immediate efforts. The first one is we want to be the organization that connect the resources that are out there in Colombia, like the one that you just as an example, but actually we're trying to connect with all those organizations that are in Colombia to collect money for them. So Action Colombia is not collecting the money, but we are linking those link um, for the money so people can go online and donate for those organizations that are in Colombia.
Okay. So in essence, you guys are kind of acting like the middleman. It's, hey, here
Correct.
are the organizations that need help. We're just going to connect you to those organizations.
Correct.
Okay.
In the second part, we're doing Embracing Colombia, a community vigil at City Hall in the north side of the City Hall at 6 p.m. tomorrow, Wednesday, August 12th. So at least our community feels like solidarity, reflection, and hope for the families that are affected.
Okay. So if anybody wants to come out, they want to speak, or just feel like someone else might be going through what they're going through, they just need to see other people and be among other people, 6 p.m. at City Hall tomorrow.
And the third is going to be a mass held on the Holy Innocent Church for Colombia and for all those people impacted by this tragedy.
Okay, now, Maria, if you don't mind talking to me on a more personal level, let's get a little bit more transparent about what's going on here. When this news hit, a lot of people were devastated. A lot of people were nervous when they couldn't get in touch with their family and friends. For you personally, I mean, when you saw the headlines come in or you saw it on social media, what went through your head?
I was one of those because my best friend called me and saying that how is my family. Thank God they are good, but I think as a Colombian, you don't care only about your family, you care about all your Colombian family. So my family is from Cali, but that's not even the earthquake center because Chocó was hit worse. So it's you feel horrible. You feel horrible.
And with that horrid feeling, you turned it into action where, yes, a lot of people do feel bad, and sometimes that can make you kind of sit and be stagnant. But you and this organization, you guys did everything you could and are still doing everything you can just to make sure that someone else doesn't feel alone as well. Is that right?
Correct. We are a group of volunteers, and we also have other community leaders, other nonprofits. They are also Colombian nonprofits doing everything that they can. They also are going to collect some food. I can give you the information later. Like, for example, Avivamiento Church is going to collect food and all different resources for our communities. And also other nonprofits, Colombian nonprofits, are collecting money directly. So everybody's doing everything they can.
I want to ask you this too, for the people who are watching with us. We do have people streaming right now who are from Philadelphia, but we also have people from a little bit of all over the world. What would be the best way to get in contact with Acción Colombia here in Philly? Is it online, specific social media that you guys use more often?
For sure. We use in Instagram is Philly Acción Colombia, and on Facebook you can find us as Acción Colombia.
And then just out of curiosity, when disaster is not striking, like on a normal day, what do you guys do here?
We are a nonprofit that focus on art and culture and in civic education.
Well, I really appreciate you giving us some of your time to share, again, the efforts that are going on. When I saw the post on Facebook, it's, like I said, that's what initially had me contact you guys. I was just felt a little sense of pride about another organization doing big things. I share this quote all the time on my show here. I just want to share it with you. It's a Mr. Rogers quote, and he says his mom said that when he would see scary things happening in the news, she would tell him to look for the helpers because he'll always find people who are helping. And so I feel like this organization is just some of those helpers. So I appreciate you letting me shine a light on what you guys are doing.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody can join us on this.
Thank you, and thank you for giving us those events as well. All right, you guys, if you missed any of that, we will have this interview available for you online. You can watch it back, reach out to Acción Colombia, and see if there's a way that you can help if you are interested in it. We're talking to you about different areas and what they're doing, but I also want to make sure that we're showing you what we're doing right here at home. We're doing our homework and our job as well. Well, you guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to get you updated again on your top news of the day. There is this big controversy with TikTok. A lot of people are concerned about whether or not it's harming our young people's mental stability, their emotional support, and all that stuff. So we'll show you what's going on, including a lawsuit that's been launched against the platform. We'll also show you some live events that are going on. Keep in mind, it is primary night, election night across the country. So we'll get into some of those watch parties and whose races we're keeping an eye on when we come back. All right, welcome back to Philadelphia Live, getting you updated on some of our biggest topics of the day, and that includes primary. We're looking at election night across 6 key states. Voters have been heading to the polls all day long in these key primaries. We're talking about governor races and even an open Senate seat that is drawing focus for just about everyone. So you're seeing a quad box here on the top left. You're taking a look at Josh Turk's watch party. This is happening in Spirit Lake, Iowa, as we speak. You're seeing right next to it David Crowley's watch party. He's going for governor in Wisconsin. This is happening live right now in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. They're getting ready to invite more people out and maybe have a little bit of a party, trying to see who comes out on top. Now, the bottom left-hand screen is honestly one of the biggest races that a lot of people are keeping their eyes on all across the country, and really have been for the last couple of weeks. Remember the name Senator Lindsey Graham, who died not too long ago. His sister ended up taking over his seat, and she said even though she didn't have a big political background besides working on his campaigns, she said that she had no doubt in her mind that she would be able to fill her brother's shoes. President Donald Trump picked her as someone who should take over his seat permanently. She was, of course, then voted in. She was accepted. Even the governor of South Carolina spoke on her behalf. But the thing is, she didn't just want to take his seat for a little while. She says that she has what it takes to be the permanent senator in that seat. So when this special election came along, she threw her hat in the ring, and this is a live look at her election night party as well. And it looks like Ralph Norman has also gotten on out to his watch party. This is happening in Rock Hill, South Carolina as well. But we are keeping our eyes again on 6 key primary states. We're talking Connecticut, Minnesota, Vermont, and Wisconsin. South Carolina voters cast their ballots in a special election, but those other states are voting in midterm primaries. Again, South Carolina voters are trying to decide which Republican should fill the seat that was left by Senator Lindsey Graham in his death. There will be a runoff set for August 25th if there isn't a single candidate who wins at least 50% of the vote tonight. Again, you're taking a look at what's happening across the country. Now, right here in the Philadelphia area, I thought it was interesting that we here in Pennsylvania are keeping our eyes on TikTok. So a lot of people love it. It's a way to enjoy content from people all across the country. It's sometimes a way to mindlessly enjoy that content. For me, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I like the fruit AI videos and the cat AI videos. I don't know what it is, but those storylines just, get me on in. But for our children, there are some lawmakers who suggest that this may be harmful to their mental health and to even their attention spans. So the PA Attorney General is announcing a lawsuit against TikTok and going into detail about how he feels it may be harmful to our kids. I want to let you take a listen in. We held a press conference and got to listen into what he said. It's about 10 minutes or so, you guys. Take a listen.
I strongly believe that the information gathered during extensive investigation shows overwhelmingly that TikTok designed their app to promote infinite scrolling that can deteriorate and decay a child's mental wellness. At a time when kids are already susceptible to exterior pressures as they grow and mature into young adults. But when TikTok is constantly, infinitely in our kids' view streams, to where a child is essentially trapped in a scroll, we see TikTok as inhibitors to healthy adolescent development. It works directly against the teachings and mentorship of parents, educators, and other positive influencers in our children's lives. So we have filed a civil lawsuit in Allegheny County Court alleging violations of the Pennsylvania Consumer Protection Law. The lawsuit alleges, and this is a high-level view of the suit, that TikTok's 13+ age rating opens the gates for kids to content that's beyond their years, and that TikTok has done nothing to limit kids' time on the platform. In fact, this suit alleges TikTok's view of their audience demographic very simply is the more the merrier. This suit seeks to put into place effective barriers and safeguards that will consider the child consumer's well-being and safety. And that's an important point I want to restate. The suit seeks to put into place effective barriers and safeguards. Today is an action rooted very simply in protecting children. In the past 5 years, TikTok has either been the most downloaded app globally each year or is close to the very top. On any given day, nearly 100 million Americans use TikTok. Millions of Pennsylvanians use TikTok every single day. What is most concerning and at the root of our lawsuit's purpose is that more than 2/3 of children ages 13 to 17 use TikTok. More than 1 in 5 kids that age report to using it almost constantly. Data for kids under 13 is harder to find, but we know that preteens are also using the platform as well. The lawsuit's characterization of TikTok's shortcomings and neglect are as follows. First off, to fully consume TikTok, to watch TikTok, or post to TikTok, you have to download it from an app store. These app stores, just like a movie theater with its inventory of films, has ratings and age restrictions. Those ratings are essentially determined by the platforms and the information submitted by the companies profiting from the platforms. Our lawsuit alleges that TikTok deliberately misrepresents their platform to achieve an age rating of 13+. TikTok does this by tailoring their answers to obtain that age 13+ rating and claiming that their app contains infrequent amounts of, again, by claiming that the app contains infrequent amounts of alcohol, tobacco, or drug use or references, sexual content or nudity, mature and suggestive themes, and profanity or crude humor. So why do they do that? It's basic economics. The more users that are on their app, the more eyeballs for advertising, which is their main revenue stream. So having an age 13 plus rating is very important for their bottom line. The next prong of our allegations regard TikTok's addictiveness. To be clear, TikTok designers are very good at what they do. They aim to present a product that users feel they cannot be without, and they succeed. We've all heard of FOMO, right? That addictiveness, fear of missing out, that addictiveness harms children. We allege that TikTok knowingly created platform features intended to cause excessive, compulsive, and addictive use, ignoring that young people are most susceptible to and harmed by those very features. Features like push notifications and infinite scroll are meant to draw users in and keep them there. And what are we seeking in this lawsuit? This lawsuit seeks to remedy the behaviors I've detailed. We want TikTok's app to be honestly marketed in app stores with full disclosure of what the app contains so that the app stores provide an appropriate rating, which will allow parents to understand exactly what their kids are getting themselves into. We want real age restriction and verification safeguards in place. And this filing today in Allegheny County Court is the first action in what will be a long fight to achieve those goals.
Can you talk just a little bit about the content, the issue of content and what's available to kids? Because I think, you know, probably everybody in this room's had access to the internet. In the early days, there were some parental control features, but a lot of this content people are already seeing on the internet in general. How do you balance that with also saying we potentially don't want to block free speech in some cases? I think there has to be some concern there as well.
So there's two parts to the lawsuit, generally two parts, and you can go through and you'll be able to read the whole complaint. But very simply, part one of the lawsuit has to do with the fact that TikTok, they are misrepresenting what is available on TikTok so that they can get a 13 plus rating, which in turn is the rating that parents rely on to know what they are buying. That's unbelievably important. The second part of this has to do with the purposefully created addictive nature of this. And so those are the two general components of the lawsuit.
I know you mentioned the addictive part of the lawsuit, but also the age rating. So are you looking into also getting the age rating changed for Instagram and YouTube as they have the 13 plus rating as well?
So I mentioned earlier that this is the first of, because what we try to do is we try to collaborate with people prior to getting to this point. There are things I can't talk about here, but that we have worked with other companies on, and they have changed behavior. Like that does happen. And so what I can only say to you now, this is our first legal action like this that we're announcing today, but we are looking at a lot of things, and you will hear more from us in the near future.
And then one other quick question. I know you mentioned some safeguards, but maybe they're necessarily needing to be more. I know when you log onto the platform, you create an account, you do have to enter your age. There are, as you're scrolling, notifications that you get that you've been scrolling for a long time. At what point is it also the parent's responsibility to make sure that they know how much time their child is spending on the app and monitoring what they're paying attention to?
Right. I mean, that's a great point. And that was actually something that we discussed during our teen talks, which I will again show the Teen Talk report that's up here that I would love to share with you. And that question came up with the teens. Like this was a whole dialogue with the teens in the room. And these were 11th and 12th graders. And we actually posed that question to them. And I will say anecdotally, because I don't have the actual answers in front of me, but we heard a few different things. The first one was, hey, our parents are literally just trying to get through the day. They work, they come home, they make food, they make dinner. And then kids are separately living this parallel life where they're going to school and schools are bringing them to the technology. Schools utilize the technology. Their friends all use the technology. And so they're living like a parallel life. And so part of the age ratings are to give give parents the tools that they need to be able to make those informed decisions. And that's what we're seeking.
I think that's touching on this. Pennsylvania is just one state. Let's say you get some success here. Let's say you're able to get some kind of change out of them. Is this something as simple as like kids in Pennsylvania, if you're in the boundaries of Pennsylvania, these changes that you're seeking could potentially be in effect? Or is this something that would require much larger changes at TikTok's level?
I will say that there's power in numbers, and there are a lot of other states, to someone's point earlier, that have already sued, that are already in the litigation process. And oftentimes, and these are bipartisan actions, we come together, have conversations, and you will start to see a coordinated effort, because to your point, no one state, has even remotely the resources to be able oftentimes to fight these Herculean companies. But at the same time, we are the people that are tasked with having to fight this fight to protect kids, and they're worth it.
All right, so there you hear it from the Attorney General, says that yes, they are moving forward with this lawsuit, and not without TikTok, a spokesperson, saying something back. I want to read the statement to you all just so we're getting both sides here. They say, and I quote, "This lawsuit relies on misleading and inaccurate claims and deliberately ignores the concrete safety measures TikTok has voluntarily implemented to support the well-being of our community." They go on to say teen accounts have 50 preset safety, privacy, and security settings built in, and TikTok's family pairing tools give parents direct control over screen time and content filters. Their statement finishes out with, "We will vigorously defend against these claims." Again, that is from a TikTok spokesperson. Now, again, interestingly enough here, the irony is not lost on me that some of you guys are watching this live stream platform, this news show through TikTok. You guys let me know that in the comment section as well. But keep in mind, they're talking about teenagers, children here that they are saying the Attorney General and some other leaders in Pennsylvania are saying are at risk by using those social media platforms. All right, you guys, we're going to take a quick step back. When we come back from this quick break, I want to get you caught up on some more news of the day that pertains to our local region while we're talking about the potential for damage being done to mental health, emotional stability. There's an emotional support cat that has gone missing, and the search to reunite this cat with its owner has been massive. We're going to touch base with one of our reporters on what's going on here and where they're at in the search when we come back. Hey guys, welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Bringing back up my Mr. Rogers quote. I have found some more helpers as we look into, again, more heavier news. We're also seeing good things happening, people trying to help other people. So this particular story, we got wind from someone who, sent in a tip. It's what people do. It's what our audience does all the time. Just sharing with us different things that are happening across the community. We're hearing that an emotional support cat has somehow gotten on the loose, missing from its owners. And I'm hearing that there are some of those helpers that I've been mentioning trying to make sure that they can reunite that cat with its owner, and the lengths that they're going through to get this done. Incredible. So I want to get right out to one of our reporters, Dawn Timoney. Dawn, this story is right up your alley. What have you found since you got on out to cover this?
Well, so we are at Philadelphia International Airport, and it was just over 4 weeks ago that 2 University of Oklahoma grad students were traveling to Johns Hopkins University for a conference. They were standing, waiting to catch an Uber. They were by the SEPTA train platform near the CD parking garages, and somehow this cat carrier broke open, and the cat got scared, ran out, ran down onto the tracks and just disappeared. The cat's name is Daisy. If we can take a look at some of the pictures that have been provided to us, she's not just any cat. She is an emotional support cat. She was traveling with her owner, Meg, because she suffers from severe anxiety, and the cat hasn't had it a long time, but it's really apparently helping her deal with it. So now enter Carmen Brothers. She has a professional pet tracking service with her dog Finley. Finley was brought to the airport and actually tracked Daisy, sent to an area near Terminal A. And also Bonnie Wagner Westbrook is a professional pet detective. She's been doing this for 15 years. She's been at more than 30 airports across the country and has been very successful in reuniting lost pets with their owners when they're traveling. So it's been 4 weeks, which is tough, but Bonnie says to me that she has recovered pets a lot longer than just being missing for a month, and she's still trying to remain hopeful. The Philadelphia International Airport, I spoke with the public affairs manager here. They have been trying to help coordinate all the efforts to find this lost kitty. And the good news is that Finn tracked it to a spot, but then there have been no reported sightings. The only lead, Judea, was 5 days after Daisy disappeared. A man reported finding a cat. He told a parking authority employee that he found a cat and was wondering what to do with it. The employee told him, take it to a local shelter. It's unclear if that cat was Daisy. That the owners checked with Act Philly, and no cat fitting Daisy's description have come in the last 4 weeks. Daisy is a very distinctive looking cat. She is a lynx Siamese cat. Very, very beautiful. She's only 8 months old. She weighs 11 pounds, so she's kind of a medium-sized cat. And at this point, Good Boy Dog Recovery, they're a local tracking nonprofit. They've also been asked to come help, so they're going to be bringing feeding stations and cameras and hope to track her. It's been hot and humid. The weather has not been the greatest, but no one is giving up hope. Her owner lives in the Midwest and is absolutely frantic, but praying that Daisy can be found. So that's kind of where we're at right now, trying to get the word out to airport employees, to people who have traveled. Maybe somebody picked up the cat thinking they were doing the cat a favor, and maybe they have it. So everyone hoping that somehow this cat is okay and can be reunited with her owner.
Dawn, you know what? As you're talking, the one thing that's coming to mind for me is I think people from Philly aren't given enough credit with how we handle other people. So I'm gonna be honest with you, when I first heard this story, I was under the impression that maybe this was a family from the Philadelphia area, and that's why so many people wanted and were willing to help out. But to know that this family is from the Midwest, but people here who don't even know her, him, anybody who's in the family, but still willing to, willing to do everything that they can, setting up those food stations, bringing out Finley, putting Finley on the case, like, that is incredible to me.
Yeah. And so Meg is her name. That's all we were told. She doesn't want her identity revealed. Obviously, she suffers from extreme anxiety, and this is just making everything worse. I mean, she brought the cat along. She was going to a conference at Johns Hopkins University. She brought the cat along to keep her calm and relieve her anxiety, and then the cat gets loose. But yeah, lots of people pitching in to help. There are signs posted around the airport alerting the public and anybody who's traveling or works here about the missing kitty. And as I mentioned, we talked to Heather Redfern. She's the public affairs manager here at the airport, and they've been just trying to coordinate all these efforts to hopefully help find the cat. So as you mentioned, lots of people chipping in. I think lost animal stories always, touch our hearts and tug at our heartstrings, so you would never want it to be you. And so a lot of people hoping to find Daisy, and she is a beautiful, beautiful cat. As I said, 8 months old. Meg did not have her for long, but she was apparently making a huge difference in her life, and she just wants her back.
Well, I hope someone out there locates Daisy. We've shown you guys plenty of photos. We've shown you guys the missing pet poster. Again, Dawn, thank you for bringing us the latest updates on this, but I know we'll see you in 10 o'clock, the hour there, maybe to get more information on how we may be able to help out. So I appreciate you joining us here on Philadelphia Live to share that. And for those of you guys who are out there streaming with us, keep in mind we've got a lot of big news to bring you on out to, but I also want to share stuff like that with you guys, show you how our community is coming together, doing everything they can to help the next person. Again, we're going to keep the ball rolling on some of our other topics as well. So after this break, I also want to bring you guys a pretty interesting story. We're hearing that there's a local company that has actually been responsible for some of the coolest things that you have seen in our sports venues, including most recently at the FIFA World Cup. It's all about what you see out there on the field, the pitch. We'll get into it with Jeff Skversky when we come back. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I'm hearing there's a local company that's really spreading their wings and sharing their artistry, the way that they're able to, put out their products. And the products are something a little interesting. It's not exactly what you think. I want to get right out to Jeff Scaversi, who can explain it a little better than I can, how they're being seen really on the national stage here, right, Jeff?
Hey, what's happening? You know the iconic movie Field of Dreams and the famous quote, "If you build it, he will come." Well, that's what one company here in Bluebell is doing and bringing to life. Brightview is the largest landscaping commercial company in the entire country, and they build fields across the world, from the World Cup to the Little League World Series to the World Baseball Classic, and of course, the Field of Dreams in Iowa, where the Phillies are taking on the Twins on Thursday. Now, right now, Brightview is putting the finishing touches on the diamond, on that classic field in Dyersville, Iowa. Take a look at this. It all started in 2019, transforming the movie site with 100,000 square feet of sod, 300 tons of clay for the diamond. They even planted 160 acres of corn that, of course, the players will walk through just like they did in the movie, leaving you to wonder, is this heaven? No, it's Iowa. Now, we talked to the company's president who's on site in Iowa overseeing the project, and he says he gets goosebumps every time he's out there to check on it, and it is going to be absolutely incredible. And who knew? A company here in Bluebell, Pennsylvania is behind all of this. They designed the Field of Dreams. They brought it back to life just like the movie. It'll be something special Thursday when the Phillies take on the Twins. And Kyle Schwarber told us that, he cannot wait. Of course, he grew up watching the movie as a big baseball fan, and of course, now he's a professional baseball player. He cannot wait to step foot on that field. It's pretty remarkable that a company here in Bluebell, this building here, their headquarters, is responsible for so much.
Jeff, the video you shared with us is gorgeous. And just to know that technically not even done yet, like what it'll look like when everybody's in the stands and their favorite players are out there on the mound, on the diamond. I mean, it is gorgeous already. So I can't imagine. Obviously, a lot of work is going into this. You talked to me a little bit about how this really comes from a movie. I actually haven't gotten to see it. Has anybody else commented on, what this really means to them? You told me about Schwarber. Anybody else comment?
Yeah, I mean, look, the president of the company, he says, look, you grow up loving this movie. It's an iconic movie. You dream of doing this, and he got to do it for a living. And we also went out to Lehigh University today. It's one of the fields they maintain, and they kind of walked us through behind the scenes of what it's like and why it's so important, from the raking to the mowing, so you can get that perfect hop for the baseball players and softball players, even football players. So again, they do so many fields, from the Little League World Series in Williamsport to the World Cup field they did in Los Angeles where Team USA played. They do the World Baseball Classic, you name it. They work very closely with Major League Baseball to help out with the fields. And this one in Iowa is very special because, of course, it's from the movie with Kevin Costner. That is such a fan favorite for millions and millions of people. Bringing that to life, as again, it all started in 2019, and the Phillies will be the playing that third game out there in Dyersville, Iowa.
I love it. And again, I love the video. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, showing us how a local company, again, is being seen on the national stage. Thursday is when you guys may either get to see it in person or see it on television, maybe even social media. Jeff, again, appreciate you. And just so our audience knows, if they want to see your full story on this later on tonight, 10 o'clock is when we can expect to see you again?
That's correct.
All right, Jeff, appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining us here on Philadelphia Live. Again, 10 o'clock is the time to join us right back here on Fox Local, the free Fox Local app, or continue streaming along with us on any of our social media platforms. We will keep the news of the day going for you all. Now, we're also going to keep you up to date on some of our biggest sports headlines of the day. Soon we'll be talking to our sports team just to get you guys updated on everything that is happening. But I will say, interestingly enough, the Philadelphia Eagles, they're still at it with training camp. Each day we're hearing from different coaches, the coordinators. We're also hearing from players on how they feel getting out there every single day, practicing, hopefully not getting injured, although sometimes we have heard about minor injuries setting them back as well. But I want to share with you all, Jalen Hurts, again, spoke to the media today, to let you guys take a listen to what he had to tell him.
To ask you about the concept of pressure. We've seen in the past when the stakes have been at their highest that you have had some of the best games of your career, or when you had your first NFL start, you played one of your best games. Do you feel like that is a fair narrative? And if so, why do you think that has been the case over your career?
I think about the work. Think about the work when I think of any concept of the game. Just making sure you're going out there and you're as prepared as you can be. You take pride in wanting to show up, putting the work towards, the daily deposits and the daily efforts, so you can do what is needed to ultimately win. And so, just focus on the work right now. I appreciate the bigger picture question. It's hard to think about any other thing than just improving every day. That pressure that you're talking about, that opportunity, those opportunities that I relish in, they start right now in these moments. And so just the pride and the hunger and the thirst that I have to improve in this moment right now. Every day I step out on the field, every time I put the number one on, and every time I lace up my cleats, just trying to learn and improve and be the best that I can be.
Jalen, Vic said earlier today that he thought you looked faster.
Nothing specifically, just went on my regiment as normal.
Do you feel faster?
No, I feel good. I've always felt good. I don't feel any different than I felt in the past.
Hey, Jalen, you've been through a lot of joint practices over the years. I probably won't talk to you before New England. What do you get out of those kind of workouts?
Great competition, new competition. That'll be a really good team. They had a great run last year, so that'll be good for us to go out there and compete against them. I just think carrying on the same things that we've been able to do to this point, continue to exercise what we've learned, continue to improve, continue to coach and detail things out, get that alignment that we've been talking about all camp.
We always want Devontae out there and ensure him the.
All right, you guys, literally, it is always great to hear Jalen Hurts speak. Anytime he gives the media the time of day, we will take it. I want to touch base with one of our sports team's finest. Scott Grayson is joining us. You guys have been all over Philadelphia Eagles training camp. A lot of big headlines have come out, including Lane Johnson saying this may be his final season with the Eagles, with the NFL in general. Today, was there anything else interesting that stood out to you?
No, today we just keep continuing to watch, particularly the wide receivers, some of the top wide receivers, and Devontae Smith and Mekhi Lemon, the rookie. They've both continued to remain out of practice due to hamstrings. So we're watching that. They were doing a little bit more off on the side, so that's a positive sign that they're starting to get closer to getting back into action, hopefully at practice. They've been out for a while now, and they're missing some, Devontae Smith kind of can figure out what he's doing. Mekhi Lemon as a rookie, it's good for him to get those reps. Another thing we heard today was about one of the new defensive ends they got in the offseason, very proven defensive end, Jonathan Grenard. Vic Fangio said it's still going to be a couple of weeks before he's back on the field. He has not been out on the field at all for training camp, so he's missing valuable time to get to learn Vic Fangio's system. So we're continuing to watch those kind of things. But other than that, you mentioned what Lane Johnson said. It's been a pretty uneventful camp. Of course, the offense is new. They're learning that. But the players like what they're hearing from the coaches. They like what they're getting from the coaches. Coaches, in turn, are complimenting players. It's really a good vibe down there at the training camp facility for the Eagles. And I think that's a good sign as this team starts to get closer and closer to their first preseason game, which is Saturday night.
Okay, it sounds good. My jaw dropped when I heard that news this past weekend. But to hear, honestly, to me, I would say hearing that there's no news is good news. I would say moving forward, we'll keep it that way until we see one of our games pop up.
Yeah, you want to knock on wood a little bit, but a lot of teams around the league are already starting to deal with, in some cases, some significant injuries. And other than the Jonathan Grenard issue, which is going to correct itself, and he's going to heal up from the pec injury he suffered right before camp started. Other than that, they're in a pretty good spot, and they're continuing to, like I said, watch those hamstrings. But other teams are dealing with a lot more than this team is right now, and that's why I think it's for all intents and purposes been a pretty good camp so far for these guys.
Scott, I noticed like the last couple of days we've been seeing new people getting signed on to the team. As you know, I am very much so new to like this level of analysis in football. But at this point in time, is it normal to keep seeing people being added? Today I saw that the Eagles signed David Blay, the former Patriots defensive tackle.
Yeah, that's typical in camp because you're constantly rotating your numbers and at different positions, and perhaps you've decided that, you know what, we're not going to be looking to keep this guy, so let's move on from that and try this other one. We might need a player here. You might have a person go down with a bump or a bruise or something like that, and they're out. So you look to fill that roster spot because you need to keep having practices, and that's where you'll see a lot of that kind of turnover throughout training camp until they get down to the point right before the season starts where they got to go from 90-man. They're in a 90-man roster right now, down to 53. That's when it gets really tough.
Okay, well, let's move on to the Phils. We know that they're in St. Louis as we speak. That game really just got started. 7:45 was when first pitch should have gone out. I'm wondering, we're coming from a pretty good high, like last 3 games. We have knocked it out of the park, so to speak. Are we expecting to do the same tonight? How are you feeling about everything?
Tonight's game is going to be, just cautioning everyone, it should be more like a good pitching duel. And so far it's kind of struck out that way. It's only in the second inning, but it is still scoreless. The Phillies did threaten last inning. They got a runner to third, but they weren't able to score him. So far, Christopher Sanchez for the Phillies, who is the first player in the major leagues this year to get to 15 wins, is pitching well. He's held St. Louis, scoreless through 2 innings now, and that's what you expect out of him. He did not have what, by his standards, would be a great start last time out, but he is out to a good start so far tonight, and I'm sure he's looking to bounce back in a big way. Give the Phillies a great start there. This bullpen has been gassed over the last few days. All the extra inning games that they had played before they went to St. Louis took its toll on that bullpen. So if he can go pretty deep into this game, that will certainly help them. When they do have to go to the bullpen, really try to only have to go maybe 1 or 2 innings, that would be ideal. And that's what this bullpen needs right now. They've really come close. Last night, the bullpen almost blew it. The lead that they had, they ended up winning by 1. They've won 2 in a row. They do need to get on a bit of a winning streak here if they want to try to compete for the division title and continue to, more importantly, put a little bit of distance between them and teams like the Padres that are trying to catch them in the wild card. So big series, big game, as they all are pretty much going to be the rest of the way. But with Christopher Sanchez on the mound, you like your chances.
Okay, so does that mean you're feeling pretty good about our potential for the playoffs?
To me, I think this roster is built to be a playoff team. So far, the biggest problem has been they're just not hitting as well as they should be at times. And then when they aren't hitting, the pitching has been good. But then when the pitching is not good, they aren't hitting enough to compensate for it. It needs to they need to find that kind of rhythm and get onto a roll in that regard. And I think some of these guys are a little banged up. We know Bryce Harper's been dealing with a bit of a knee issue, but he is out there playing right field tonight. And I think they just got to get it together and play more consistent baseball. And when they can start to do that, and we've seen it in the past, some of their playoff runs in the past have started with a good run that starts in August and carries over into September, and then they can take that momentum into the playoffs. So this is the time you want to start seeing them build some of that momentum. But yeah, I do think this team will make the playoffs. Whether or not they can make any loud noises in the playoffs remains to be seen.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to knock on some wood for them.
Yeah. Good idea.
We're getting ready to get into the 3rd inning, but I want to look ahead. We were just talking to Jeff Skversky about the Field of Dreams game. I've never gotten to see something like this before, so can you just tease it for me? What are we expecting?
It's if you love the movie Field of Dreams, if you're, which I do, I think, it's a great kind of game that brings you back to a little bit of that movie and what it really tried to get to in its purest form about baseball and the love of the game. out there, and you'll see behind the outfield fence is nothing but cornfields, and it's different. You won't see that at any other major league park. So you see that kind of game, and it's a great setting for it. There's only a limited number of fans that get to attend, including they try to reserve a certain amount of tickets for the local people there in Dyersville, Iowa, which is where this is located at, where the movie was filmed. So I know we were talking to Kyle Schwarber a few days ago before they left town just about this, and he was very excited to get out there as a fan of the movie, to be able to get out there and play a game, and was looking forward to whatever Major League Baseball has planned for them to enjoy the experience as well. And this is just going to be the third Field of Dreams game ever. They've played 2 other ones, and it's been, I think, 3 or 4 years since the last one was played. So we haven't seen this in a little while, and it's just kind of neat that the Phillies are involved, and we'll look forward to seeing that Thursday night.
Beautiful. And shout out to a local company being the company that gets to kind of put the dream, if you say, together. So I'm excited. I haven't seen the movie before. I've got some homework to do tonight.
You got to watch the movie.
I know. I'm behind, but I'll get ahead. Don't worry about it. So let's also move on to the Sixers. There has been so much noise about them after schedule, at least for 3 of our games, has been released. What are you thinking here as we look ahead to even the season opener and the home opener?
Yeah, I think it's great that we now know, at least, everybody, including us, are wondering, okay, when are we going to see LeBron James debut? We know that is now October 20th against the Knicks at Madison Square Garden. It's the same building where the Sixers season ended last year, and what a difference what we saw as far as a roster that night is versus the one we're going to see take the floor October 20th. It's going to be great. The Knicks are going to raise their banner. There's going to be a lot of energy and excitement in that building at Madison Square Garden. And the Sixers, which has some players, young players like Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, guys who haven't won a title before, like, a Joel Embiid, who, alongside of Jaylen Brown, who's new to this team, and LeBron James, will watch the Knicks unveil their banner. And, a lot of people are high on this team, the Sixers, and believe they have a shot to win a title. Perhaps that's something that can get them hungry to maybe be that team that does that next year. But then you go from that, you go just 2 nights later, you'll see the Sixers and LeBron James make his home debut with the team. That will be here in Philly, of course, 2 nights later against one of LeBron's former teams, the Cavaliers. And then we also know they're going to play Christmas Day. It'll be out in L.A., LeBron's most recent team. And that's where his son plays still with the Lakers. That game is Christmas Day at 5 o'clock. So those are the 3 games we know now. We're supposed to get, the NBA has said they're going to put out the rest of the schedule on Thursday. So we'll start to see how that looks and start diving into that. No matter what, they're going to play 82 games, and they're going to be here, there, and everywhere, and we'll see how it shakes out. But yeah, the fact that the schedule's coming out now, we're just getting that much closer to seeing this team become a reality in front of our eyes.
I'm not gonna lie, I am very excited for this season opener against the Knicks. Okay, so I'm a New Yorker. I've heard so much trash being spoken about the Knicks. It's Knicks and whatever, go Knicks, whatever. But we've got LeBron now. So, if we were to be the champions, what does that say about the kind of team we just put together? I think it speaks for itself. I really don't have to say it. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I want the bragging rights.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, as a New Yorker, if you want to try to start saving now, you better. Because apparently, as we've seen some reports, that the get-in price to get in to see the Sixers and Knicks on opening night is around $2,000.
I'm sorry.
You got that, right?
Yeah, just laying in my back pocket.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm curious, now that LeBron is gone, what some of those older teams, Lakers even, what their tickets are going for. Are they still sky high, or have they gone down?
I'm sure some of them are, but I think this is just the perfect storm. We all know that, like, when the Knicks were on their playoff run and even in the finals, the price of those finals tickets was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think that's just carrying over. Everybody's excited from what they did up there in New York, and they're going to celebrate that night. And oh, by the way, at the same time, you have LeBron James, Jaylen Brown, and Joel Embiid, this whole Sixers team that everybody's calling a super team. They're all going to be there that same night. So it's the perfect storm to really drive up the prices there. If you're looking to go to that game, save up now.
Now you know what I need to do? I need to get one of those Powerball tickets because apparently it's gone up to $1 billion freaking dollars. Maybe
Yes.
I can then afford my $2,000 ticket.
Yeah, then not only will you be able to afford the ticket, you can buy one of the teams, and then you can, get in that way.
Thank you for picking me up. That is exactly what I'm going to do. Hopefully I'll win. Fingers crossed, you guys. Pray for me. Scott, thank you so much for sharing with us a little bit of what's going on with each one of our teams, getting us up to speed with everything that's going on. And keep in mind, with the Phillies, we are in the middle of the 3rd inning. Scott, appreciate you. You guys out there streaming with us, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we'll get right back into your news headlines of the day. I want to share some local stories with you guys. What's going on in our areas? We're going to talk about new SEPTA buses. We're going to talk about that person of interest in a case of a stolen vehicle and maybe even a connection to a murder case being captured. And we'll also get you more information on this investigation into a quadruple shooting in Wilmington, Delaware. We'll have more when we come back. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I keep you updated on live events, breaking news, situations that are developing, and that includes our own local headlines right here at Fox 29 Philadelphia. Earlier today, Shayna Ferreira, one of our reporters, gave you guys an update on this investigation into a quadruple shooting out in Wilmington. We're talking about Delaware here. I want to let her share what she's got on that story. Take a listen.
4 people recovering tonight after that early morning shootout in Wilmington. Neighbors say this isn't the first time this has happened in recent weeks, and they tell us they're fed up.
You just heard pop, 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 pop.
Miss Cheryl Elsie describing the terrifying moments that unfolded Tuesday morning. Gunfire ringing out at 10th and Spruce Streets, leaving 4 people shot along this tight-knit Wilmington neighborhood.
I heard like 10 shots. I said, Rod, they're shooting. And then we came out, and then one of the victims was sitting on the stoop.
Sky Fox over the aftermath of the scene. Evidence markers laid out across the front side of this home. On the ground, Fox 29 cameras were rolling as ATF agents and K-9 units were on scene of the home that appears to be at the center of the investigation. Wilmington police say the shooting happened just after 6 a.m. The 4 victims were rushed to nearby hospitals for treatment. 3 men ages 23, 40, and 49, and a 53-year-old woman.
This morning, it was really a mess. I mean, you know, you have 4 people shot, And then my guard, he comes out and try to help one. And you know, this is happening too much every day. Every day.
Elsie is the property manager for the neighboring senior living facility.
This is a senior building. I'm responsible for 25 seniors. The oldest is 83. And I don't want them to have to come out of their homes every day and duck bullets.
Something she says is unfortunately a regular occurrence.
And it's happening all the time. This is from a previous shooting. And I have 2 windows up the front from a previous shooting.
Investigators narrowing down on this home that neighbors say has been an issue plaguing their street.
And they raided the house just a month ago, and they was out about an hour and they were back in there. They hang out here at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the mornings, and you know, I have people that live here, literally live here and pay their rent. And these people over here, I don't know what they're doing.
As the investigation begins, neighbors hoping to see a change on the horizon.
My hope is to have the city of Wilmington realize that this house here is an eyesore and that we as a community need to band together and clean it up.
Now, the 4 people that were shot in this incident are expected to recover. As far as a motive or suspects, we have not gotten any word yet from investigators, but if you have any information, Wilmington Police want to hear from you. Shayna Ferreira, Fox 29 News.
All right, so that was that report from Shayna Ferreira. If you guys want even more information, all you got to do is go to the Free Fox Local app, look up her story, or fox29.com, and again, you'll find that article. Now, another story that we're talking about here, SEPTA buses, they are facing some major route changes. That's going to come August 23rd. Keep in mind, we're weeks away from school coming up. A lot of our young students do take the subway system, do take the bus to school. So if we're talking about their route changing, that's a big deal. So one of our reporters, Chris O'Connell, checked that one out too. Take a listen.
Those who ride the bus in the city are in for some big time changes with SEPTA's first ever modernization of its bus network. Those changes will happen late next week. We'll add new bus routes, change others, and eliminate even more. For generations, Philadelphia's bus routes have been as familiar as the neighborhoods they travel through. But starting August 23rd, some of those familiar rides are about to change.
All that was done with an eye towards making the system as efficient as possible, getting more people to more places in the shortest amount of time possible.
One of those changes is here at the Navy Yard, where SEPTA had some help celebrating its Route 45 extension beyond its current South Philadelphia. It's part of a new SEPTA service map, including 2 brand new routes like the East-West 72 and the North-South 76 buses. Changes also call for 6 new route extensions and 7 existing routes to be eliminated.
This is the first wholesale change or reimagining, if you will, of our bus network in our existence.
SEPTA's redesign will also mean big changes for passengers. Ken Stakursky takes the soon-to-be eliminated 47M bus several times a week to appointments and shopping in South Philly. His new stop will have him walking 4 blocks further.
How does that affect your daily life?
Well, it's an inconvenience. I'm 83 years old, so
that's the last thing you need.
That's all I need.
Supposedly it'd be more efficient, which is good because SEPTA, they need to save money somehow.
And the timing could make the adjustment even more challenging. Phase 1 begins the day before Philadelphia public school students head back to class. SEPTA is warning anyone who rides the system to check routes and prepare for changes ahead.
It's going to feel sudden. So we're trying to soften that suddenness and that unexpected nature by getting out as often as we can on the vehicles at the bus stops where people ride from.
Now, this is only phase 1. Phase 2 and 3 will be rolled out over the next year. For bus riders, just don't assume the bus you were riding up until August 22nd will be the same the next day. For the latest, go to our website, Fox 29, for all the changes. In South Philadelphia, Chris O'Connell, Fox 29 News.
Chris, appreciate that update from you as well. We love the bus expansions, the route expansions, but we also need to stay aware, as he mentioned, that some of those buses just aren't going to run at all. that takes toll on some of the passengers. Also, remember I said school is starting back up, so our students need to know what is going on. August 23rd is the day where those route changes go into effect. Now, I also want to get you back up to speed on that breaking news. We here at Fox 29 Philadelphia are still getting all the details on this, but remember, we told you that this young man, 19 years old, who's been tied to a car theft involving officers, also a murder case, has turned himself in. So, as I mentioned before, his name is Gaddafi Fleming, 19 years old. He was wanted in the recent theft of an off-duty officer's car. At that time, we heard that there was a shootout in this case. He has since surrendered to police. Also, he is wanted in a connection to murder of 22-year-old Penn State student Billy Schmidt. So you may remember that story from a couple of weeks ago. He was walking home. They say that two people approached him, may have asked him or tried to get his phone off of him. And then there's actual Ring doorbell footage camera that shows one of those suspects turns around, opens fire. Billy is hit. He is then left on the ground, and unfortunately he does not come back from his injuries. You guys, he died there in the streets. So a lot of people have been trying to figure out what happened, who could have done this. They're saying that one of those young men you're seeing on your screen right there. So I just want to go back into some of the details that we've had with you all. The carjacking, that theft, they say that happened early Sunday morning near 70th Street and Lindbergh Boulevard. Officers said they got to the scene. They saw this red Lexus that was driving without headlights. It was being closely followed by a dark colored SUV. They say two men got out of the Lexus, and then all of a sudden gunfire was exchanged. Now, through further investigation, they say that there was also a Dodge Charger in the area that had been stolen. The car's owner was an off-duty Philadelphia police officer who happened to follow the suspects, who we believed took his car, confronted them on South 70th Street. That's where that shootout happened. Now, the police say that there is no evidence that anyone was hit during that particular incident. They said that the officers then tried to continue to follow the red Lexus, but they lost sight of it. But they did believe that this young man, Fleming, was a person of interest in this case. So they put out his photo on social media, through the news not too long ago, and someone reached out, maybe getting more information on who he is. That's when, through investigation, they were able to tie him to that Penn State student's homicide. So again, that was 22-year-old Billy Schmidt, who was well on his way to graduating. In December, he was supposed to be getting his degree. They say he was going to school for digital journalism and media, and again, he was set to graduate very soon. His family has been heartbroken since learning of his passing. And I don't think I mentioned this before, but he was just a block or so away from his father's home when this all went down. So we've got more information available for you on the Free Fox Local app. You can also go to fox29.com. It is our top story right now as we speak, as we're trying to get more information in this. I see more of you guys joining our live stream chat. Someone says, oh, at least he surrendered. Yes, that is the latest information that we have there. So now we're going to have to see where this case goes. And I do also want to say that these are allegations. These are charges from police. He will still have to face a judge in the court of law and try to either argue his innocence or argue down on those charges. All right, you guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break. Then I'll get you caught up on your national news of the day. Keep in mind, tonight is election night across the country for a couple of key states. We're talking about primary elections. We're also talking a special election for Senator Lindsey Graham's seat. Passed away not long ago. Now they're trying to figure out who permanently reside in that seat until the next election. We'll get into that and more when we come back. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. You're taking a live look at 4 election night parties across the United States. We're talking about major elections in the primaries. We're also talking about a special election to see who will permanently fill the seat of the late Senator Lindsey Graham. Right now, you all know his sister, Darlene Graham, has been filling in that space. But there was a special election held tonight to see if someone else would be able to take over, or whether the constituents believe that she has their votes and what they want in mind. Now, we're also talking about a couple of other different states that are also having their midterm primaries tonight. Connecticut, Minnesota, Vermont, Wisconsin, their voters all heading to the polls today. Now, you are taking a live look out at David Crowley's election night party. That is your top left screen. That's happening in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He is duking it out for the Democratic nomination and running against the Democratic socialist Francesca Hong. These kinds of races have been interesting. We're seeing a lot of socialists running, and it might, be a sign of the times that maybe some people are looking to, swing the way that they vote, not necessarily wanting to change the sides or the aisle that they're on, but maybe saying that they think there's more that can be done. It's just been interesting to see how the Democratic Party has been handling these primary elections in a lot of our key cities. Now, right to the next, to the right of that, you're looking to look at Mark Sanford's election night party. This is happening in Columbia, South Carolina. Again, I mentioned that Senator Lindsey Graham, he passed away and his seat was up. His sister, Darlene Graham, filled that seat, but Mark Sanford is the former governor who says he feels he's the right man for the job. So we potentially tonight could see election night speeches from any one of these candidates. Now, I keep mentioning Darlene Graham, that is the sister of the late Lindsey Graham. It's been interesting to watch the way she's been holding her seat because according to some election officials, other political leaders, she didn't necessarily have her own history, background in politics. She has helped her brother on a number of his campaigns, and they've been together obviously all of their lives. She has said time and time again that she does believe she has what it takes to not only fill his seat but also fulfill some of his greatest ideologies and what he wanted to do as senator. We'll get back to that in just a second because I also want to show you Ralph Norman. He's also having his election night party. That is happening in Rock Hill, South Carolina. So another person who believes that he could come out on top. But again, Darlene Graham, let's get into her again real quick. She has already advanced to the runoff in special Republican primary. We just got that into the newsroom now. So I had mentioned all the different people that she was potentially running against. They do say that now they're believing that she will she will advance to the runoff. She'll have to face a Democrat or someone else who will go up against her to see who will actually take over that seat. Could it potentially flip to blue? Again, she was appointed to finish Lindsey Graham's term. Again, you're taking a look at that election night party. I'm really interested in seeing if we'll get to hear from her, if she'll come out and address her constituents. It does look like they're getting ready for something or another out there. If we can show you guys, I want to let you guys know what she's saying. Now, it looks like the runoff winner, she'll have to face Democrat Annie Andrews in the general election. That will happen in November. The election is being watched because President Donald Trump has already pledged his support for her. So it's just another one of those races where we're trying to see whether or not, if President Donald Trump puts his hat behind you in the ring, is that enough to sway the vote? So she's just one of 10 candidates who competed in this race that advanced to tonight, and obviously it looks like she's coming out on top. So again, she'll have to face Democrat Annie Andrews in the general election. You guys will keep our eyes on what's happening here, but those are just a look into what's happening in those 6 different states with different things going on. We talked about President Donald Trump just a little bit there. You remember he was touting his Trump accounts for your kids, saying it's possible they could end up being millionaires if you plant the seed while they are young. Comes out that there are some new reports that are suggesting that Trump accounts may actually accept pre-tax paycheck contributions. We're talking about this would really impact some of our top earners. Treasury Department today issued some guidance that may allow parents to make pre-tax contributions to your child's Trump account directly from your paycheck, and it could have potential matching from your employer. This would, I would say, be great news for somebody who's trying to save a lot of money without having much impact on them or repercussions when tax season rolls around. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent actually made this announcement again earlier today and shared some new guidance that again would allow employers to contribute up to $2,500 in pre-tax funds every single year to their employees' dependents. It would also allow for their employees to contribute their own pre-tax funds to those Trump accounts. More than 50 companies have already committed to Trump account contributions. That's according to the Treasury. But it's really unclear whether any firms are involved in this. So we'll keep our eye on that situation. But there's also a proposal that still requires public comment and a hearing. It's scheduled for October 13th. That'll have to happen before the Treasury or IRS can finalize this. So I just wanted to share a little bit of what's happening out there. Then another story that I want to bring you on out to, a lot of people have been talking about Luigi Mangione. Earlier today, he had his last hearing in a New York City court. That means trial getting ready to start up. They say pretty soon they're going to have jury selection. That's going to be interesting. I'll tell you right now, they say those jurors will remain anonymous. That's for their own safety, but also to make sure that they remain unbiased as they listen in to some of the top evidence and witness testimony and whatnot in this particular case. There was a hearing earlier today for 28-year-old Luigi Mangione, who, by the way, let's just remind you all, is charged with murdering someone. We're talking about the CEO of United Healthcare. So at his hearing today, the judge, Gregory Caro, ordered that both sides of the party team up to try to come up with a jury questionnaire. They want it to be fair, and it would have to prove that any of those jurors don't necessarily have they haven't picked a side already, hoping that they haven't heard too much about this case so they can remain as unbiased as possible. A jury selection is expected to begin on September 8th. The trial is expected to last about 6 weeks once it really gets underway. And if convicted, Luigi Mangione could face up to life in prison. That's the latest that's happening there as well. Guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break, re-rack what's going on here. We'll get you updated on everything that we know, everything that you need to know. And remember, this is an interactive live stream news conversation, so let me know what you want to hear about. We've already got somebody says who hasn't heard about Luigi. You'd be surprised. All right, you guys, again, we'll get back into our top news of the day when we come back. right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I do see that we still got the eyes on this meeting. Cheltenham School Districts is inviting public to come up and speak. I know one of the topics that may be discussed at some point tonight, they're talking about the coaches for the football team and the players who were recently suspended as part of this investigation into hazing. They do believe a sophomore student was attacked at some point in time. So again, it's possible that some of the parents may bring that up in this meeting. Let's go ahead and take another listen.
District for about 5 years, and my child has attended for 3 years now. And just to kind of summarize some of the themes that we're hearing here tonight, I think, I don't know if I'll be the final comment, but it sounds like everyone is really concerned about a lack of effective action. And I just want to share an observation that I have from this school district, which is that the lack of effective action is due to the fact that we have a lack of effective practices in general across our school district. Instructionally speaking, obviously safety-wise, right? That's why most people are here. I don't have children in a school where they feel unsafe every day, and so that is not something as a parent that comes to the front of my mind. But I will tell you that I'm extraordinarily concerned about academic performance of our children. I think that is one area in which Brian Scriven did a disgraceful job of leadership. And I really, really hope that we can hire a new superintendent who understands what evidence-based practices are and can implement those across our entire district. Because so far, from what I've seen, the reason that we have all of these crises is because we don't do anything to prevent them. School districts don't have crises like these when they have strong positive behavior support programs. They don't have crises like these when they have effective instruction, and they don't have crises like these when they have evidence-based safety practices that are developed within the district. I want to be really clear that I am not in support of hiring external consultants to pay our tax dollars to when we already pay our entire school district staff to solve and prevent these problems. These problems should be things that our school district is able to prevent and tackle and respond to effectively, and we haven't seen that. And as a parent and a taxpayer, I find it really abysmal that we pay all of this money every single year to all of these staff who seem to be able to produce no effective action when everything that they could possibly need in terms of resources would be available to them if we just had the right human resources here to be able to provide the accountability that everyone's talking about, to support our teachers, to support our administrators, and most importantly, to support our students. I usually speak until the time is up, so that's it for me.
All right, so I mean, as you can hear and see, the public, the community, they're very passionate about what's going on in the school district, not just about this hazing scandal, but also about a number of other topics as well. We've been in and out of this meeting throughout our live streaming platform, but I just want to also show you guys what's happening nationally. Remember, it is election night. I had mentioned that we've just learned moments ago that Darlene Graham is the projected Republican winner in this special election to hold on to her brother Lindsey Graham's seat. You're taking a live look at one of the officials who was also hoping that he could go for it. This is the Republican watch party for Ralph Norman. Take a listen as he gives his speech.
I will be reaching out to all the other candidates and asking for their support. And I ask y'all for your prayers, and I ask you for another go-round that will be a fun time in the political arena here in South Carolina. So I will be glad to take any questions of the media if they have any.
What will your strategy be to beat Darlene Graham?
You know,
Guys,
I hope we'll
I'm
have
going to take
good many
over
debates. I know
before
we're
he
scheduled
really
to
gets
debate
into
for
the
Monday.
meat of this question, because I also see out of the corner of my eye, remember President Donald Trump has been traveling all day long. He made it out to Ohio for this kind of scholarship-like game show almost for teenagers. It was kind of cool to see, but it looks like he's heading back to Joint Base Andrews, getting ready to get on this flight. I want to let you listen in as he addresses the media. Again, this is happening live.
The president has a lot of threats. Non-consequential presidents don't get threatened. And I think that I'm maybe the most consequential president. There's nobody who's done more than me in a period of almost 6 years. There's nobody.
Were you worried about a shoulder-fired missile?
I don't worry about anything, to be honest. Whatever it is, you know my attitude? Whatever. I don't trust Iran. Why? Are you saying I trust Iran? I'm the last person to trust Iran. They've lied to me constantly. We have total control over the Hormuz Strait right now. They don't have control. We have total control. We own it. And at some point, maybe they'll do something and then they get blown away. But right now, we're in a very good position. We have a country that has been the bully of the Middle East for 50 years. It's really 51 if you think about it, right? We've been saying 47 for 4 years. And they're no longer the bully of the Middle East. Thank you very much, everybody.
All right, again, it looks like he's making his way back home to the White House. But again, we've been following his movements all day long. And I had mentioned that event that he was at earlier, and I just want to specify exactly what was taking place there. So this event was called the 2026 Patriot Games Finale. It happened out in Ohio. The nation's top high school athletes were brought onto this field to compete against one another. It was a physical fitness test of sorts, and they were giving out $250,000 worth of scholarships. It would go to one young man and one young woman, so they would share $125,000 each. This competition included a couple of different things to kind of like see how fit they are. We're talking about boot camp drills, track and field events, the presidential fitness test, obstacle courses, and then there were also some team competitions in kickball, dodgeball, and tug of war. But again, only 2 people could come out on top. It's kind of like the Hunger Games for kids, but no one dies. So we've got a look at what was happening there. You also got to see President Donald Trump making his way back to the White House, going home after everything. And we only got to listen to just a little bit of what he said to the media, but that tail end there, it sounded like he was talking more about some of the threats that have been made against him. We've also seen some of the attempts on his life recently. So he was just sharing a little bit of how he felt there. With that being said, you guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, get you caught up on more of our news of the day. Another thing that I want to bring you guys up to speed on, remember Delaney Hall, that's that ICE detention center that's been in the center of tons of controversy. Well, there's a civil rights case that may be liable against it. We'll touch base on what's really at stake here and who's pushing it forward. We'll be right back. welcome back into Philadelphia Live. We're in a round robin of sorts of different election night parties as there are 6 key races happening right now as we speak across the United States for a couple of different primary elections. We also know we were keeping our eyes on the elections for Senator Lindsey Graham's seat. It looks like his sister, Darlene Graham, will be the Republican nominee. But I want to bring you on out to Hartford, Connecticut, because we've got eyes there as Senator Richard Blumenthal has just taken over the mic. This is at a watch party for Ned Lamont, who it seems has already earned the Democratic nod for his 3rd term as the Connecticut governor. Richard Blumenthal just finished speaking, but take a listen in to the next person.
Happy, and we are so proud, and we want to say thank you to the amazing team of volunteers and organizers that work tirelessly across our state. Thank you, Team Lamont. We couldn't have done it without you. And there are so many party leaders here that helped us. We are so very grateful. And we want to thank the Democratic voters of Connecticut who stepped up and placed their confidence in us. We, the governor and I, and this team behind me and our legislative partners have worked really hard to make our state more affordable. And we took our message to the people, to the voters of Connecticut. We're going to roll up our sleeves. We're going to do the work, and we are going to continue to fight back against the cruel policies of the Trump administration. And I am so proud that the Democratic voters of Connecticut have placed their trust in a competent, compassionate leader who has shown that he will make our state more affordable and that he will fight back against our president. And I give you our fearless leader, Ned Lamont.
All right, Democrats, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Connecticut. Roberto, and your leadership, thank you for being here, my friend. I look forward to carrying this battle into the fall with each and every one of you, Democrats in Connecticut, what we stand for. I want to give a shout out to Josh Elliott. He ran a feisty campaign, raised very important issues. Look forward to working together as one into this fall, what we can do together. Look, a lot of other parties around the country are shrinking. We have a big tent, we're expanding. That includes all the supporters, progressives, moderates, small business, labor, independents, even a few right-minded Republicans, because we have one thing in mind: affordability and opportunity for all the people of the state of Connecticut. That's what we do. That's our North Star. And I know a lot of you are going through really tough times, working your tail off, 1 or 2 jobs, hard time getting by. The Trump economy is really bad. Look what it's done to the price of food. Look what it's done to the price of gasoline. Look what it's doing to the price of insurance. That's what it is about affordability. That's why we're stepping up. Make your life a little bit easier every day. Make sure you have food for your kids. Make sure they have free breakfast and lunch in our schools. Let's get that passed. Make sure we have affordable health care for all of our residents. Right, Sean Scanlon? Let's get that done. And talk about affordability. You know, the Republicans are always saying, oh, it's just about taxes. We're going to eliminate the income tax. No, they raised the income tax, and they raised the income tax. We did just the opposite. We cut the income tax, not for millionaires. We cut the income tax for middle-class folks, just as people in this room, eliminated the income tax for our working families, allowing you to keep a little more of what you earn, higher pay, keep more of what you earn. That's about affordability. And just one other thing. It's about opportunity as well. Affordability lets you to get by. Opportunity says, let's get ahead. I want each and every one of you and your kids and your grandchildren to know Connecticut is a state where you can get ahead with opportunity. It starts with the best education system in the country. That's true of almost all of our schools, but not all of our schools. We're not going to stop, Susan and myself, until all of our schools are the best. That's pre-K right through college, debt-free community college, debt-free state college. I want everybody to be able to achieve their dreams, not worried about the finances there. give you that opportunity. We have started more new businesses in this state over the last few years than ever before. Businesses started mainly by women and people of color. Small businesses right on Main Street. Businesses allow you to start a career and allow you to grow a business and grow your wealth. That's what we're trying to do. Allow you to buy your first home. That's what I mean by opportunity. And just one other thing. I believe in the politics of addition, not subtraction. I believe that when it comes to political parties and winning political races, you're welcome in this cause. I also believe that, as Dick mentioned, when it comes to our country and what we stand for. And if I'm particularly distraught about, I got too many things to count, but one thing with Donald Trump, when he tells you, looks at a crowd like this and goes, you don't belong, and you don't belong, and you're not like me, and you should go home, to go back to where you came from. That is not America. That is not Connecticut. And that is what is on the ballot. That is what is on the ballot this November. We are so much better when we work together. We're so much better when we look out and care for each other. Remember, love thy neighbor. That is their message. And that's what's on the ballot this November. Look, I care. Harry Truman once said, if you want a friend in Washington, get a dog. I don't agree with that. You have all been very close friends for a long time. We've been through a lot together over the last 7.5 years. The people behind me are extraordinary, making a difference for this state every day when it comes to affordability and opportunity. I could not do it with my friend Susan Beiswitz right here by my side. And I'll give you a little secret in life. When the going gets tough, make sure you have a partner for life. I've got Annie Lamont. God bless you all. My name is Ned Lamont, and I approve this message.
All right, so yeah, all smiles, all parties over there for Ned Lamont in Connecticut. Again, this is Hartford. We're streaming live for you guys his watch party. Again, I had mentioned that he was going again for his third term as governor, and it does look like, according to the reports, according to the latest ballots, that he has earned at least the Democratic nod. It's going to have to come up with him against a Republican to see who will actually take over Connecticut or continue their run and their reign. You guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I want to share a big press conference that we got to see a little earlier today. They got heated. There were some residents from both West and Southwest Philadelphia who say that some of their beloved homes may be up for sale, and it's going to come at a cost to them. We'll take a look when we come back. All right, welcome back into Philadelphia Live. I don't know if you've heard, but they say 925 homes that were considered affordable housing may be up for sale and not necessarily in favor of the people who live there, the residents. So the residents, we're talking about housing advocates and city leaders, they are calling on the mayor, Sherrell Parker, to maybe rethink this situation and try to help keep those homes both safe and affordable. I want to let you listen in to the press conference that happened earlier today. As I mentioned, it got a little heated at some points.
My name is Christy Davis. I am a resident of Neighborhood Restoration, formerly known as Prime Property. For those that do not know, I have lived in my home for 22 years. I have raised my children in this home as well as my grandchildren. I have so many memories in my home as well as my neighbors. I have worked in the community for a long time. My home is a place where family comes together, where we have family gatherings. If these homes are sold to the wrong person, I would be losing my community where I live and raise my children, as well as memories. I would lose my neighbors and the elderly and the disabled people that I care about in my community. We have met with city official leaders. We have elected officials backing us on this campaign to save these units. We are at the end of our rope. We are demanding that the city leadership save these homes. Last month, we met with mayor's administrations. It was a great opportunity for us to meet with them. I want to thank them for taking the time out to meet with us, but I do not feel that the real direction we are headed in. This is why we are demanding that they give us a sense of direction. The clock is ticking. Again, the clock is ticking. The residents are worried. Some of the residents are moving out and moving into homes where they cannot afford the rent for these properties. They are afraid that they will be displaced, and they are moving in homes that they cannot afford and out of fear. No one should have to panic because of this sale. The city claims that they are supportive of the community and we are the community. This is a chance to save our community. We know the city created an 800 million home initiative to support affordable housing. This year alone, there is $47 in the budget for affordable housing. 47 million, I'm sorry, 47 million. $47 million in the budget for affordable housing. The city can afford to save these homes. I have sat in so many meetings where we were promised that they were going to keep these homes affordable and in livable conditions. I have heard elected officials that have walked the same path that I have. And I believe them when they say that. But if you share in my struggles, then you should understand that we need help. We need help. I need the city to stand up. Again, I need the city to stand up and carry that message forward. I have come to City Hall today and in the past hearing the promises of security. Hearing the promises of security, but I do not have that security yet. Again, I do not have that security yet. I deserve and I demand that the city keep these promises, help keep the homes safe and affordable. I am calling on leadership to do what is right. Save our homes so we can stay in our neighborhood. What you're really doing to protect the community. Now is the chance to actually do something for the community. We are the bedrock of Philadelphia. I work hard, I contribute to the city, my children, I have fond memories of this city and our neighborhood. If the city claims to be a big community involvement and support, here is the perfect opportunity to stand on business. Again, we are asking that the city stand on business. We want the city to purchase the homes and keep them affordable. And if we want to purchase the homes, give us a chance to do so. We deserve a chance to become homeowners and live comfortably, again, in our community.
Now, I'm going to share something with you that a lot of people don't know, Jamie. For a brief period of time, I was homeless. I was a young father with a young wife, with a young child, and we had a large rent. I think about those times and how demasculating, how vulnerable you feel when you don't know where you're going to lay your head. I remember the sheriff coming to the door and saying, "Time's up. I'll give you an hour to get up out of here, grab what you can, and you're on your own." And I had to look my wife in the face and say to her, "We have to go." Well, they are in a worse position than even I was because they're doing the right thing. They're paying their rent. They were promised that they would be able to assume the responsibilities of purchasing first option to buy these houses. So you build your life saying, well, maybe I won't move to the next spot because I have this spot. I won't move to the next opportunity because this opportunity is for me. And it's not the owner's fault. The owner wants to sell to them, but he has to have a way to be able to get what he put in out. Now let me say this. I love my mayor. I'm a homer. I'm for her. I'm for the home program. I voted for it, fought for it, continue to support it. But if the home program isn't for the people you see right here, then who's it for? We want, what is the slogan, United? All right, no, we're going to say it with some enthusiasm. United, we stand. Divided, we fall. If we are to achieve 30,000 affordable housing units, then united, we stand. In that budget, we must not fall. And so we're going to hold the feet of this administration, you know, the housing people, to say, if not them, who? If not now, when? And that's the question. And so if we're going to achieve our goals, they've got to be brought along to achieve theirs. I remember Jamie, my Jiminy Cricket in council, fighting for this program. And I was saying, well, maybe we should consider a higher bar for people to be able to qualify. And she stood 10 toes down and say, no, we're going to start here, and then we'll eventually get to there. So we compromised, and we passed that home program. Now's the time to use it. Let's make the promise real. And we ain't going nowhere. You heard her read off the people that support this, and we are going to hold all of our accountable people to this program so that we don't fail them. We cannot fail them. United, we stand. Divided, we fall.
All right, so you heard from a resident. You also heard from a very just passionate community leader. I do want to say the mayor did respond. She said, and I quote, "Every Philadelphia family deserves a safe, quality place to call home that they can't afford. That is our commitment across Philadelphia, and it includes the families living in the 925 affordable housing units in the neighborhood restorations portfolio across West and Southwest Philadelphia." Her statement includes a little bit more. If you guys are interested in reading what she had to say and what some of the other people on the other side of this have to say, we've got an article available for you on the Free Fox Local app. But it's about that time I get you guys a look at your weather forecast. Kathy Orr is joining us. Kathy, you look beautiful in your red. What's going on out there in the skies? You're welcome.
You know what? It's just a partly cloudy night out there, Judea. A little bit on the sticky side. And after high temperatures today in the 80s, we're going to be seeing temperatures falling back in the 60s and 70s overnight tonight. Philadelphia, Wilmington, Reading, Atlantic City, all in the upper 80s. So, of course, We are no longer in that oppressive heat wave, so that's some good news. As we look at our current numbers, Philadelphia 83 degrees with a partly cloudy sky, and elsewhere we're in the 70s in places like Exton and Wilmington, 81 in Dover, and as we widen out throughout the Northeast, through the Great Lakes, you can see those cooler temperatures through places like Indianapolis and even Columbus, Ohio, into Pittsburgh. Some very strong storms there throughout the afternoon and evening, so that's rain cooled. A little bit farther west in St. Louis, still quite warm, around 90 degrees. That's a current temperature. Overnight, lows settle down into the 60s and 70s, and then during the day tomorrow, we'll be back in the 80s. We do have a partial solar eclipse. Now, it will be a total eclipse over areas of Spain and also Portugal, but for the rest of Europe and even the United States, it will be partial. In the United States, it's just going to be about 7% obscured between about 1:11 and 2:35 in the afternoon. So if you do not know that it's happening, you wouldn't notice. If you have your eclipse glasses and there's some breaks in the clouds, you might see like a little chip out of the one, probably the top of the sun. It will be obscured by the moon. But other than that, we will not be seeing a good part of that eclipse, unfortunately. But just to let you know that it's going on tomorrow afternoon. During the day tomorrow, high temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. So another warm day, but not oppressively hot. And then tomorrow night, another celestial event. It's the annual Perseid meteor shower, where we see we go through, what is it, the dust of the comet Swift-Tuttle. So as we rotate through that dust and debris that is in the atmosphere, we see some shooting stars. So we are going to be seeing them potentially tomorrow night, obviously weather dependent on the cloud cover, but the best time to view is after midnight tomorrow night into Thursday morning and far away from the city lights. That's where you want to be, and that's where you would see the most meteors. Even in the suburbs, you'd see less than 100, but 50 to 100 meteors an hour for the perfect viewing. And once again, you don't want to be near the city. You might see 1 to 5 an hour in the city. As we look down the shore, temperatures in the 80s for Wednesday and Thursday. Some of our models are trying to bring in some showers for Friday, but that's still debatable. One thing that we know for sure is this weekend's going to be really nice. Saturday and Sunday, high temperatures in the 80s, lower humidity, almost feeling like a fall afternoon, dare I say. So next couple days, upper 80s to around 90, and then Saturday and Sunday, temperatures go below average being 87 for this time of year, and then we bump those temperatures back up into the upper 80s to around 90 a week from now as we go into next week. And by the end of that 10-day Judea, we're already at Friday, the 21st of August. That is frightening when it feels like the summer just began, and here we go, talking about getting toward the end of the month.
I mean, honestly, truly, I'm looking at the forecast that you just shared with us, the 7-day and whatnot. Does this mean we are officially out of this 6th heat wave?
Yes, we're officially out.
Okay.
I think we'll have another, maybe at the end of the month. There's always time in September. But once you get past September, then all bets are off. But we've had some really, really warm Septembers around here. But that's typically the nicest part of the year.
I'm so surprised too at how warm it has been up here, because I'm talking to some of my friends still back down south in Georgia. They say they actually haven't even broken 100 degrees yet. It's like Georgia, the deep south, hasn't broken 100 degrees, and we kind of do it regularly around here. That's crazy.
Yeah, this year was definitely the exception, because we haven't seen that in a long time around here. And to do it 3 consecutive days is absolutely astounding and historic.
Well, I appreciate you, the whole storm team, our weather authority, keeping your pulse on what's going on and keeping us updated. I tell everybody all the time, you guys, if you want more on your weather forecast and to get some of those latest updates, especially when we've got severe weather, you're going to want to download not only the free Fox Local app, but also the Fox 29 weather app. Again, our storm team is doing everything they can to keep you guys updated so you are aware and you are safe. Kathy, appreciate you.
Thanks.
All right, you guys, so that's it for our weather forecast. But, I also want to share with you, we had our eyes on this situation at Newark International Airport where Secretary Sean Duffy actually came out and spoke. He was speaking alongside FAA Administrator Brian Bedford on maybe modernizing Newark Airport. What would that look like? What would it entail? Well, I'll let you guys take a listen.
it's those airports that are being updated with the resources that the Congress gave us. So this is not small. This is not 1 or 2 airports. This is a nationwide build. So we are about 10 months into the build. We are moving at historic speeds. The FAA, even some in the FAA would say this could never be done. We've got now true believers. This project will be completed by the end of 2028. So we are well on our way. We continually update Congress on where we're at with our build. We are on time. We are more than on budget. We are actually saving money as we go through this process. And it's with that money that we've saved, it's allowed us to invest in the new software, which, by the way, if any members of Congress watching, any senators watching, we need more money to finish that software project. You can't fault me for making a pitch for more cash. And the last thing before I turn it over to the administrator, this has been bipartisan. Infrastructure is never a partisan issue. Roads and bridges, they're not Republican or Democrat. There is not a Democrat or Republican airport. All Americans use American infrastructure, which is why we have had bipartisan buy-in to the effort that we're undertaking, and why we have such great partnership. And we appreciate that. This job is not done. It's at the beginning phases of it. The last thing I'll mention is the surface awareness radar. What this radar is going to do, it's 30 years old. And what it's going to do is give us better technology to see airplanes, to see vehicles on the ground at the Newark Airport. It'll see aircraft on final approach. It is a more resilient system. This actually was built, wish it was built in Wisconsin, it wasn't. It's built here in New York, up in Syracuse, by Saab. And again, these are being deployed around the country. But again, it allows controllers on a dark night or controllers in bad weather, if they can't see out of the tower and see what's happening on the tarmac, they can actually use this radar to actually see on their screens where everything is at, airplanes, vehicles, and again, it keeps the American traveling public safer as we use American skies. So exciting day. In a few moments, we are going to lift this new system. It's going to take us about 3 minutes to get it up. I'm going to turn it over to Brian Bedford after we all say a few words. We'll come back and take a couple questions from you all before we actually lift the radar up. Thank you. Brian.
Back to you, Mr. Secretary.
Thank you. Just before I take your questions, want to make an additional point. Sometimes when people see that you get a lot of money to build a project, they think that the project is done in the next month. And as we've tried to tell you here, this is a long project. This is a massive, massive build that we've undertaken. And even when we talk about radar like this, or the radar we're deploying across the country, we don't buy those off the shelf. Like, people don't just build those and wait for someone to come to the store and buy them. They're built to order. So we order them, and then they have to be built for us. And this undertaking is so big, the order is so large, it's taking some of these companies a little bit of time to actually build what we need to deploy for our airspace. And as the administrator mentioned, we have made a requirement that this equipment be built in America with American jobs, the American workforce. We have a president also who he loves flying, he loves the airspace, and it's helpful. I told you, this is bipartisan. No one wants an unsafe airspace. We all want safe, efficient airspace, but the president has leaned in and has been a great advocate for getting us the money. He asks and will call and wants updates on how we're doing and how quickly we can go. But I'll just tell you all this. We have the most complicated airspace in the world. No one comes close to as many airplanes in their airspace as we do. And so we do set the standard in the world for what equipment, what software, how we operate this airspace, because we are the biggest, but we're also the best. And we, again, are leading the way with this new infrastructure and this new software that the administrator mentioned will be deployed next this coming September. With that, happy to take any of your questions that you may have for any of us.
All right, before those reporter questions come on in, I want to also share with you guys live events that are happening across the nation. I mentioned it is election night across the United States in 6 key election races. And this one in particular, we've been keeping an eye on Senator Lindsey Graham's seat. There are a couple of different Republicans who wanted it, including his sister. His sister has moved forward. We're talking about Darlene Graham for the Republican Senate primary runoff election. Now, someone that she was facing, Senate candidate Mark Sanford, who used to be the governor, is speaking right now about that loss. Take a listen.
Ramification in every one of our lives. It's the unaddressed elephant in the room, if you will, in Washington, D.C. And so this campaign was built around that notion of what a farmer told me in the countryside of South Carolina. Let me get this right. We have a government that's spending money it doesn't have, and then going off and printing money that's not there. What's that do to the value of every dollar that you and I have? It diminishes it. And so indeed, you got a farmer in Saluda right now who's worried about how am I going to pay for, fertilizer and seeds. You got a small business person in Pickens County worried about, am I going to be able to afford the cost of goods? You got a carpenter in Myrtle Beach. I could go down the list, but a lot of people are struggling with this basic notion of affordability, and it's tied directly to the way in which Washington is spending money these days. It was our contention in this campaign that needs to be stopped if you're ultimately going to impact affordability in this country, and if you're ultimately going to impact, frankly, our ability to sustain and reach the American dream. For too many people in America right now, that is slipping out of bounds. I mean, the average age of home ownership or purchase today is 59 years of age. 15 years ago, it was 39 years of age. Literally, in 15 years, it slid back 20. This thing is real. And so, again, though our campaign didn't make it, what I had briefly started to do prior to getting in was to start a 501c3 focused on the debt, the deficit, government spending, and its implications in young and old alike. It's remarkable to me that we will spend as much on interest payments this year as we will on national defense. It's remarkable to me that the interest is the fastest growing category of our federal spending. It's remarkable to me that the Social Security Trust Fund is destined to go bankrupt in 5.5 years, Medicare in 6.5 years. We are on an unsustainable course, and no civilization across the pages of time has been able to outrun math. And so, though I will not be able to tackle it as a U.S. Senator, I will work for everything that I'm worth through this nonprofit that we're going to start, trying to focus on bringing focus and attention to what I think is a threat to every one of our lives, to a threat to affordability, to a threat to the American way of life, and ultimately American civilization. And so one chapter closes, another one opens. And I look forward to that new chapter. And again, I'm most of all thankful for the people gathered here today, but frankly, literally thousands across South Carolina who helped us in this sort of uphill battle in an incredibly short race of 2+ weeks. I see you, Terry, right there. You, like so many others, have helped out, and I do appreciate all your efforts. And I'd call it quits with that. Thank you all very much. Appreciate it.
As that is happening, we're also seeing another race party that has been underway. A lot of excitement getting on out to it. So Amy Klobuchar it just came on out in Maine. I want to let you guys listen in to what she has to say, her remarks there at her party.
What it takes to run a small business. So also here with me is my husband, John, right over here. And so many leaders, in addition to Kelly, Betty McCollum just walked in. More than crossed the river and came over here to the 3rd District. I know that Leader Aaron Murphy is here, and Leader Zach Stevenson is here. Richard Carlblom is here. So many legislators, local officials, thank you, and thank you to Joe and our team. They're fantastic. And to the voters who are showing up in big numbers this year, thank you for putting your trust in me to be the next governor of the state of Minnesota. In Minnesota, trust is not given, it's earned. That trust comes with an expectation, which is results. Results that you can see and feel in your life. Results in making life more affordable, making our government work, and getting rid of the fraud. Results in expanding our economy with a growth agenda. Results that will transform our government. And yes, I will be a transformative governor. You expect leaders to deliver results, not excuses. And you are rightfully tired of this partisan theater and the punchlines. I will deliver those results. I've done it as senator, and I will do it as your governor. Now, we know we have headwinds coming at us every single day. Trump's tariffs eating away at people's paychecks, the massive cuts to health care, the mess in Washington. Those headwinds may well be a constant, but they can never be an excuse. We need a governor who is going to put Minnesotans first and not be a rubber stamp of Donald Trump. I am running for the people of Minnesota, and I'm going to govern for the people of Minnesota. While the Republicans are still deciding their nominee, it has appeared for a while that this race has come down to two candidates. Mike Lindell, as you know, is Donald Trump's guy. He got Trump's complete and total endorsement. Mike Lindell may be Donald Trump's choice, but I want to be Minnesota's choice. And Lisa Dameth, you may have seen her advertisements recently, lots of them. Well, most of those ads are paid for by one person, one man, one billionaire who doesn't even live in Minnesota, a Wisconsin billionaire who is one of Donald Trump's biggest donors. He has spent $3 million already flooding our state for her. And who does this guy want? He wants her in the governor's office. And while she may be this Wisconsin billionaire's choice, I want to be Minnesota's choice for governor. When my opponents were asked to name one place where they disagreed with Donald Trump, they couldn't do it. They won't speak out against the tariffs that are raising everyone's costs. They won't speak out against the Medicaid cuts that are hitting our hospitals, particularly in the rural areas. They won't support extending the health insurance premium tax credits that Donald Trump let expire. They won't speak out against the war in Iran, which is costing us in lives, in treasure, and yes, in costs. And Trump keeps telling us it will end. So I voted, along with Tina, to end Trump's war. I put my name on that vote. But my opponents can't even find the courage to stand up to the president and say this is wrong, and this has to stop. I plan to do, and I pledge to do, my job without fear or favor. I will be fearless for Minnesota. I will stand my ground for Minnesota, and I will be accountable to Minnesota. I'm going to be focused on you. I'm focused on lowering your health care costs, on making sure you can buy a home, and on making it easier to start a business or raise a family, on making your government work for you. And I will measure our success as a state, not in that political theater. I will measure our success as a state by results. My goal is to keep what's right and fix what's wrong. That's why I'll launch on day one a top-to-bottom audit of state government to root out the waste and the abuse and the fraud, to cut red tape so we can build 100,000 more homes. So we can get student achievement up and screen time in the classroom down. So we can double the number of apprenticeships in healthcare and manufacturing and construction and more, and take on rising costs by reducing healthcare premiums. As your governor, I'll create a state tax credit for healthcare premiums if Washington won't act. 10 states have already run tax credits like this. New Mexico acted last year, and as a result, it was the only state where more people got covered through the marketplace instead of people losing their coverage. After tonight, Minnesotans are going to be presented with a choice. It's a choice about the future of our state. If my opponents want to devote their energy to attacks instead of solutions, let them. If they want to avoid making tough calls because the president might not like what they say, let them. That's not what I'm going to do. Earlier this year, I met with a 14-year-old girl who was part of a middle school class from St. Paul who came to visit our office. And it was right after it had been announced that Minnesota was getting the Profile and Courage Award, the John F. Kennedy Profile and Courage Award. And I said to her, you know, that Profile and Courage Award, that didn't go to an elected official. It went to the people. And then she stood as tall, as short as she was, as tall as she could, this little 14-year-old girl, and she said, now I know, she said, that award went to me. That award went to me. She wasn't just proud of our state and how her people had marched 50,000 strong in 10 below zero weather and brought food to strangers and kids to school. She saw that it makes a difference when people stand up. She saw that if we want to see change in the world, we have to be ready to make it happen ourselves.
All right, you guys, as Amy Klobuchar continues her speech, surely her victory speech there in Minnesota, I do want to remind you all that the reason why we've got this election that ended up being a landslide, we're talking like she got 90% of the vote. It wasn't even close. It's because Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, another Democrat, announced that he wouldn't be running for his third term for re-election. A lot of people were shocked. Some people expected it as they were amid that welfare fraud investigation. This was at the top of the year, you guys remember all of that. So there wasn't really a big, serious, I would say, contender against Amy Klobuchar. Now it looks like she will be the front runner for the Democratic nomination. Of course, then we're also going to have to see who she'll face as the part of the Republican side of things. That again will take place in November. As she's speaking, we also see Darlene Graham speaking. She's the sister of Lindsey Graham, who died recently, opening up his seat in South Carolina. Now, President Donald Trump picked her. He said she would be perfect to fill that role and to work forward on some of the biggest things that Lindsey Graham said he wanted to do as senator. And now it looks like, again, for the Republican side of things, she will be the front runner. She'll have to go ahead and face her Democratic challenger in November. But take a listen. She's been answering questions and talking a little bit more about tonight's short victory.
Nothing will. So I think I can handle the next 2 weeks.
Do 2 more questions. Senator, this is a massive moment for your campaign, but also, as you said, it's an emotional day for you and your whole family, you know, with the loss of Lindsey. So with everything that's happened here, you know, becoming, you know, the appointed senator, now deciding that you want to run for this, getting your feet wet in Washington, have you had time to sit and process that loss to amid all of this, and what does that look like for you and your family? I know it's really been a family situation.
It has been a family situation. It's been hard on my whole family, and unfortunately I have not had a whole lot of time to process it. I've had my moments. They typically come early in the morning. before my day gets started and late at night when I go to bed.
Do you think about what you would say to him in this moment if you have that opportunity to just you and him, no cameras, no anything?
I think a lot about what I would say to him and what he would say. Right now, I think he would be very proud.
Yeah. Senator, what is the experience like watching votes come in for yourself compared to what it was like watching the votes come in for your brother?
That's a really good question. I think I was probably always more nervous for Lindsey than myself. I'm not saying I wasn't nervous, but I think I was always a little more nervous for him.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Wrapped up those remarks. I really like that last question that she was asked there. How this has compared to the numerous campaigns that she helped her brother Lindsey Graham with. And now, as I mentioned before, she didn't really have her own history in politics. It's really always been helping him, being there for him. Now, getting to see the votes come in for her. How was that in comparison? It's really interesting to see how things pan out. You guys, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I just want to get you caught up on what news you can expect at 10 o'clock. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Philadelphia Live. Again, I'm Judea Murray. I got a couple of more minutes with you guys, and I just want to let you know what you can expect in your news at 10. So stick with us here on the Free Fox Local app. Shawnette Wilson, one of our reporters, has been digging deeper into this Shelton School District meeting that happened tonight. Keep in mind, this is coming upon this case of hazings against a student. They say twice this sophomore was attacked in unsupervised locker room moments. So the school district board members held a meeting tonight and they opened it up to public comment. So we got to hear from quite a few parents, community members saying that they feel traumatized by what happened, and they also feel upset about how the school district has moved forward since then. Now the district has to decide what this upcoming school year looks like and how they are all going to move forward together, as some of those coaches and some of those students are charged in this crime. We're going to keep our eyes on Shawnette Wilson for the latest in this story. Again, she was there at that meeting. She'll let you hear from some of those parents, but also we'll hear the side of the school board. What do they say they can do? Another big thing I want to get you caught up on, Powerball has officially reached $1 billion, over $1 billion actually. This is for Wednesday night's drawing. So if you are feeling lucky, we've been asking everybody, like, who wants to be a millionaire, but who wants to be a billionaire again? Those numbers will be drawn tomorrow night. So keep your eyes here with us on Fox 29 Philadelphia. I also want to just remind you that we're expecting to get live updates from our Dawn Timoney on that young woman who's looking for her emotional support cat that somehow got loose in Philadelphia's airport. And Jeff Skaversky is keeping us updated on the Field of Dreams, how a local company out here, landscaper, is contributing to this national stage. The Phillies will be playing there as well. Now, you guys, I mentioned that the news does continue at 10 o'clock. Don't go anywhere. We've got a short commercial break, and then you get right back into it with your news of the day. I'm Judea Murray. Don't go anywhere.